Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. 2 o'clock. That means we have a couple hours left on pretty active afternoon here still as we head back to the upside following these comments from Bostic. If you remember, we were talking about the possibility of maybe 50 basis points coming in March. Bostic comes out, says he still favors 25 basis points. I mean, there's going to be a ton of comments between now and the next Fed meeting. Remember, next Friday, I mentioned this morning it's tomorrow, but it's actually next Friday is non-farm payrolls. So that's going to be the next checkpoint as far as the Fed is concerned to have a look at what is happening with inflation. Remember what happened the last non-farm payrolls number? It was way higher than anyone was expecting. So we'll see what happens next Friday. But yeah, the market absolutely on a tear right now, back to the upside. Here's the S&P 500, about 0.5% in positive territory now, being led by specifically software names, but still seeing a lot of strength coming from CRM. Obviously now 12% back to the upside. Remember, this was up 15+% in the pre-market, so still some ways to go here potentially to get back to day highs. Adobe's higher on the day, along with a few other Autodesk there, but semiconductors offsetting that back to the downside. This is the banking group, so banks are weak. Everything else on this board now back in positive territory, so that is definitely helping the overall market. Tesla improving. We're going to talk about that coming up here throughout the afternoon. 6% to the downside for Tesla today after that disappointing event yesterday. Industrials are higher. Utilities, materials, and energy all back in positive territory. What a day it's been. Yeah, a really, really nice rebound underway right now. Back above 12,000 for the NASDAQ, approaching 4,000 once again, 3980. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. 3980 for the S&P 500. I was watching Citigroup here. They came out and announced some job cuts, so it just popped up there through 51. On some decent volume. Hope your afternoon is going well. Let's get right into things because tons to get to in the next couple of hours, including what Sean is going to tell you. Right now, he's going to have a look at one of his trades from this morning.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's your trade of the day, and wow, what a banger this one happens to be. We tweeted this out a couple times. Look, when the market gives you apples, you make applesauce. Does that make any sense? All right, the market wasn't doing anything all day, so look at this. Short, thank you very much. Short, thank you. Short, thank you. Short, thank you. Hey man, juice for everybody. We take it to one last time, but look what happens. No outs. But that's all right because we take it at 144.60. Look, we're out at 75, basically back. I mean, it's kind of like that top was 80 or so. So we get out at 75, and guess what we wound up doing? We punch long. So right now we're long Apple. There's our first take at 144.70. There's our out at 145. There's our out at 145.15. There's another out up here at 145.50. And now we are dollar plus in the money on this Apple trade. So the one thing to notice is I'm going to move over here real quick. Like the market. Basically, Deadsville doing absolutely nothing. Bostic, a couple talks, boom, AMD. I mean, there's a lot of activist movement happening. CRM, AMD again, just now with Dan Loeb taking a stake. This is the market, here's the blast up. The important thing to note in all of this, when there's nothing happening, I short there, that's a great fill, and we just took that off of these wicks. So this fill coming in, you know, kind of lucky to have it, but you got to get there to get it. Then when it comes all the way back down, that's a, let me stand on this side. That's a 144.80 fill. Our best outs down here on some of these fills, 143.80, 144. But so taking a dollar, so on and so forth. Comes in again, boom, comes again. All these trades, like we have the top. It's amazing. This should be an NFT. Then it breaks higher, so we go again at 60. We get out at 75. That's 15-cent hit. Sure, it's a hit. We give some of that back. But then, boom, we hit long, and then that long comes into play right now. As I do this trade of the day, you see it pulling off of 146. The thing is, I feel like it's what I said in the first place. When there's not much happening, you got to get into scalp mode. But always have your stops and be ready to activate it to the upside when it goes. So this is Apple. It's pretty clean, especially if you're able to make a lot of trades. We take dollars in here back and forth, and then we let it blow up, and now we still have the long right now. On board, you might be able to see it in the bottom. This is Day Trade the World's trade of the day. Hit that QR code below to start your journey today with Day Trade the World.
Great look back to the upside, not only for Apple this afternoon, but AMD on this Dan Loeb note as well. We'll get into that coming through. MicroStrategy just making a statement on Silvergate, and apparently they have a loan with Silvergate. That's the watch list, by the way. If you haven't done so already, make sure you grab that every day. I'm just reading this. Yeah, MSTR has a loan with Silvergate that's not due until Q1 of 2025. And they're saying the loan wouldn't accelerate because of SI's insolvency or bankruptcy. So that just came through from MicroStrategy. There has been a steady stream of crypto-related headlines today relating back to Silvergate. So Paxos was one of those that came through during lunch hour saying they're not going to deal with Silvergate anymore, no withdrawals, no deposits. Crypto.com was another one that came through and said the same thing, no more transactions with Silvergate. We'll get to Silvergate coming up here. There's no reaction here for MSTR. Negative, however, on the day anyways, down about 3.5%. Randy is back in the building here. You don't have a mic, do you?
I don't have a mic.
We were just talking a little bit about what happened last night as far as this Tesla event, and concurring was, Randy, that it was kind of disappointing. Like there wasn't really anything new, anything noteworthy coming from, not only from Elon, but the entire company. So as we were saying this morning, let's talk some Tesla here as far as what has happened today. We're coiling up here quite nicely, it has to be said, going into the remainder of the afternoon, looking like it might even want to break back to the upside, dare I say, guys, holding up on pretty good support.
Anything about Tesla? How's it going, Arun? Oh, you know what? I think we could probably turn this bad boy around at this point. Are you confirming that?
I think it's a good start.
I think we're pretty good. I mean, we're up half a point right now. The lowest we went down was 1 full point today. Are you in any futures, anything right now? No?
I wasn't earlier, but I think this move changes a lot. We'll get into it, but first, let's get with that rundown. Tesla.
All right, so we can talk a little bit about Tesla there. I hope you guys enjoyed the trade of the day. That was a banger for me on Apple, man. I was really happy to be able to put that one on and sort of see how it wound up trading there. And for Apple, that was a good one. All right, Tesla today. I mean, we haven't really traded it, man. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, it didn't really hit any levels that we had thought. I mean, right when it opened up, we were looking at 185 all day. My screen just flickered again. Probably want to know the next time it did that. But there it is, 185. That was that pre-market bottom. And I just think if you would have got aggressive enough off the open, you definitely had some 185 dip buy opportunities right there. It rallied from 186 up to 189 as soon as the market opened. We had a nice little $3 move to the upside. Then we covered all of that. Maybe if I can zoom in here, you'll be able to see a little bit better. We covered all of that move. So here's the move early. Then there's the comeback in late. And where does it stop? And this is where we can zoom back out a little bit, right at these pre-market low levels. So I think Arun and I talked about this right before we left, handed over to the midday show with Sharif and Luca. What a good show that was. But unless you had that, I'm looking for a short, and honestly, like a 193 short wasn't super exciting to me, so I didn't make it. And then in here, I thought that we could have, we were hitting some shorts, we got stopped out. I mean, it was really nothing. We were just trying to play against 190 because right here, that's where VWAP was. So I was like, okay, we have a key level of 190. So we started to go short 189.50 out. I mean, there was a little bit of profit right there, back 50 cents, and then out again. And then that was a key. That was just a left order. But not much happened. I think you want to play basically any bumps or any drops in this name. That's going to be Tesla today. For me, it's still not too interesting. I thought it would be a lot more exciting than this. We had that poll early, and it was, is Tesla going to be down 10% today? It was 70%, 70-30 or 65-35 that it was going to be down there. So I feel like most traders probably disappointed with the volatility today in Tesla, and for me, it's the same way. Like, why would we worry about that when you have stocks like, and we're going to get to this, AMD, that, Dan Loeb, a Third Point, takes a stake right there. You have names like Apple that are really, gave us tons of trades, and then this upside move right here again, and there's more trades that we have. We have SI, we have a whole bunch of things happening today. For me, disappointment today for Tesla, and I'm not sure it hit any of your levels.
No, I mean, it got close, but we just were a little late to the party on those shorts there. Specifically, we were looking for, if we're going to get some trades on Tesla, it was going to be a long south of 185, never got below 186 after the open, and took off right to the upside. Then it entered that 192 to 195 area I was looking for potential shorts in. And the way it spun around, remember, when I'm trying to go against the current trend, I wanted to, at least slow down a little bit. And the way Tesla did it, it did not set up the short for me, at least up there. So, I mean, it would have been the right spot, yes, but the setup wasn't there for me. And now here we are kind of back outside of that top and bottom, and we're just trading in the middle here. So if we go back up towards the highs, I would want to see this high get taken out. And then from there on out, if we are able to stay above and actually maintain strength, then I think we have a chance of breaking that 195. Or the flip side of this is the stops get taken and they come right back in. You put in another top and then you try to run it back down towards the lows. But Tesla, it's setting up for something. We just don't know what it is yet. Whether it's a reversal of the last move from 200 and 205-ish, or if this is just an extension point. So we'll find out soon enough. But for now, I think this market does need to, it's not this market, Tesla does need to make its mind up of whether we're going to either take the top end or we're going to take the bottom end. And then from there on out, I think we have decisions to make at that point. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be today, because even with this move in the market, Tesla has barely reacted to this. So it's got its own reasons for not doing what it wants to do or following the market as a whole, even though Tesla does have a decent weight in the NASDAQ index. It's number 5 or number 6 in there in terms of weighting. So definitely keep an eye on it. I think it is setting up for something. We just got to figure out what it is.
All right, just looking into the CDNA. This is quite the chart today. I'm going to keep reading on this, but this thing started the day at 16 bucks. Just sliced through $10 on the way to the downside there. It's halted right now. Just watch out. CDNA. Let's go to CRM. That was an interesting one this morning in the sense of the size of the move that happened after the close yesterday following this earnings report. I mean, if you look at what happened intraday today, it doesn't really look, if you zoom out a little bit, it doesn't really look like a lot, but decent move back down here for CRM, but maybe needed, even though they said all the right things in their earnings report.
All right. Yeah, look, Salesforce, again, we were in this early, and it just kept going down, and it's really not recovered from that. I actually got out of some in my personal account as we just took a dime on Amazon. We're going to wait to see if Amazon can pull back off this recent high in the market right now. But there's CRM today, just kind of, I don't know, in and out there. I'm just reviewing my trades. Like, the funny thing is, we were able to, the first one we were long, we were able to take some profit. Then we averaged back at 190, able to take some profit. Like, that's a 190, 150. So that's $1.50 right there. But then it came back in and we wind up getting out on a 190 break. And then we tested it one more time at 189.50 before getting out at 189. So, we will net be down on CRM today. But again, another one where I think it's kind of went the other way. I was looking for a top break of 195. And if you look at the daily chart here on CRM, we talked about this this morning. Like, this is a short, right? These are areas to short right there, not to go long. But we thought on a great report that we were going to bust a little bit higher. If we stayed above that 195, then we could have used this 194 as an out. But unfortunately, it never came in and it actually went the other way. Remember I said the other day that I don't really like trading names? First of all, I'm going to take a 188 break before I, hold on a second, let me just zoom this in a little bit quickly here. I like a 188 break to the top. Maybe that's too zoomed in. We do have 188 right into here. I sort of thought that if we broke higher, we're above the 200, we're above the 50. And if the market wants to go, then CRM should probably join it. So the market is going. Let's see if that happens. A 188 break, I'm going to be there for it. But I don't really like to trade earnings plays. And we talked about that. I have no idea which way it's going to go off early. So you either have to wait for levels to develop and play off them, or, leave it alone. I don't know what else to do. So right now, there isn't too many levels. This is a 3-minute chart. There's really nothing on here that I'm too excited about, but I was looking at a 188 break. So if that happens, we will find ourselves long right now in CRM. Before I throw over to Arun quickly, look at this. We just took this trade right now, by the way. Amazon, we just put this on. Let's buy. I just tried to buy 10s. Come on. All right, hopefully they'll come back in, but excuse me, there's a nice little short there at 30 for Amazon. We wanted it against that 50 high, but it just, we got it too late there. We came back, sat in our seat from the trade of the day, and now it's back to the downside. So here we go. Give us those 09s. That's where we're at on Amazon. Give it to us. Has to blast through, and there it is. So now we are out at 09 right there. So a nice little short on Amazon, guys. Good move to the downside, but CRM, couldn't find my way in that.
Yeah, neither could I. We were looking at it this morning, and it was looking like this, and we're like, okay, well, maybe a 95 break could happen, and then right off the open, boom, to the downside. And we had 90 on the bottom, so it was essentially 95 by 90, and then they took 90 right off the get-go. And I was just like, okay, well, if we bounce north of 191, and that's why the alert is here, I wouldn't mind looking into shorts, and they wouldn't even get past 190. They barely got past 190. It was like 190.30 or something like that they went up to, and then they are kind of just bouncing all the way down to 186 and now sideways. So that trade is done. I'd still mark off the level though. In the event it does come back into this 191-ish, I'd be open to the idea of a short again once again if it gets there against the high of 196. It's not going to happen today, it seems, because the volume's pretty much gone in CRM. But definitely there's going to be an option to take a trade here at some point when it does come back into 191. And given how sideways it's gone, it's a good thing because, well, now we have a potential 185 as well for a breakdown. So this could turn into a multi-stage move. Instead of just getting it right now, we might be able to work into potential shorts on a bounce. And then it comes back into 185, and then we can take a short on the break and things like that. So I would definitely keep an eye on both levels, knowing that north of 190 into 191 is going to be where most of the resistance should be sitting. We'll see if it ever gets there in the next few days, and then from there we can make a trade based on that.
All right, let's talk a little bit about AMD for anyone just joining, maybe a little bit late, coming in after 2 o'clock. This happened just before we came on, actually. CNBC reporting first, Dan Loeb, Third Point, taking a stake in AMD. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Sean, you know this, but he was in Intel, I think, at one point as well. So taking a trip through the semiconductor group.
I mean, I can't correct you because I am uncertain, but there was activist stake in, I don't know if it was it Dan Loeb? I'm not sure who it was in Intel, but there was someone in Intel that spiked that thing to $55 way back in the day. I mean, I can call it up on we can find, I think it was probably about a year and a half ago or so, and I was crying wolf. Like, that doesn't make any sense that these guys are allowed to do stuff like that. You see where Intel is right now. So I wonder if when you hear something like that, and I don't know the story, so I should stay away from commenting on too much of why they're in this right now. But there goes AMD right up to the upside. And whenever you get a move like that, I feel like the market has carried it with it a little bit there on that news. You probably saw Intel, probably NVIDIA, and the whole group of them start to go back up to the upside. So really no surprise there. I like AMD. I don't really know why. I mean, like I said, I don't know the story too much on the reasons there. But if you look into AMD, they're not necessarily performing at an ultimate level here. Their PE is 47. It's not like that's something low. So I'm interested in this call here by Dan Loeb and his group. So we'll see where it goes. But I would fade any pops right now until we know a little bit more about this story. I'm still not convinced that this market is on a rip. So up 1.48%. It's nice. It's kind of just a typical day for the NASDAQ and for AMD here. So if you take this away, it was struggling and was red. So maybe there is going to be some more weakness in AMD here. But, nice move up. I think if you want to go short, I can't blame you against this $80. $80 key level. Same reasons why we want to go short on Apple, below 150, below 250 on Microsoft, below 100 on, maybe 95 on Amazon. Oh man, there's that bad wick again for us. But all right, anyways, here's $80 right here for AMD, and it doesn't look like even that got us through that level. So I still feel like you want to fade this, but you're above the 50 period. So I think it's an okay long for now, but I'm going to fade it if we get back up to $80.
Yeah, AMD, nice little move, but like Sean said, it's got a much larger consolidation that you got to worry about, and which is pretty much against 80. I'm going to say a little bit higher. I think I would rather work with 81, but still, top end of the range, you're looking for a fade if it ever sets up pretty much there, right? I think the easy trade at this point, given how close we are to 80, it might be the move to actually get an 80s break, which would get some people in because brown numbers tend to do that, and then it comes right back in. At that point, you don't have to worry about the 80 being a big level that stops maybe sitting behind now because they've been taken out already. So at this point, potential fades, AMD is on the table, but at the same time, the market looks the exact same in terms of charts. So I think if I had a choice or if I had to choose between the two, probably going to go with the market as a whole. So I may just pass up on AMD up at these prices because of what the futures market is doing as well.
All right, just watching this, a few people mentioning GitLab, GTLB. What a move. 43 up to 52 it just topped out at on price hikes they've announced today. So GTLB still heavy volume coming in here. Sell side right now, but watch GitLab as we head through the afternoon. SI, on the other hand, downside in a big way today. Again, as I was mentioning as we came on there, there was a steady stream of crypto-related companies coming through during lunchtime mentioning that they're not going to deal with SI anymore. Crypto.com, there was a few others as well, as far as withdrawals or deposits are concerned, going both directions. So the story worsens as SI wonders whether they can continue.
All right, I'm just into CRM right now as it does take out that 188. So we're into that one for a little bit of a long until we break back below 50. We'll average it a little bit if we can at 70, but for now, let's just see if the market wants to continue that rally and we'll go to the upside. SI, man, you want to talk about a money-making trade today? We'll go bang on SI for a couple times. So look, we just got taken out at $6, right? Off of a long at 610. But look at the damage. So that was taken out there. We just took a 15-cent hit. So we'll flush ourselves down the toilet for the last 20% or whatever that we had. But you know, we acknowledged that right there at 2 o'clock. That was an out that we took just before the trade of the day because it went right up to 640 and filled us right there, right? Like that was a level that I was like, if we can get that back at this 50 period, because it hit it and then it was looking weak. So I'm like, one more out there, let's take that, and then I'll worry about this downside move. So look at SI today, man, just well traded. I feel like we had that early morning bottom. I mean, look at this. This is 675. That out right there is 832. That's a big win right there early for SI. Some of these trades, that's again 675, that's 750, 760, 840. Then we went long again. We let it drop all the way down. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to defend $6 anyways. So we just happened to get a 625 and then we got a 612. And then those came out 30s, 50s, 60s, 40s, and then eventually out again. So SI continues to make a move to the downside. Crypto.com, Arun, today comes out and also pausing transactions with Silvergate, which is SI, and we also know Coinbase stopped that earlier as well today. So in what's been an absolutely disastrous year and a half for Silvergate, looks like it's going to continue today, down an amazing 56%. Like why it even went up to $24 there, I mean, shareholders would have to know more than me. I know there was some talk, I believe someone, you're the wrong guy to ask because you weren't here, but didn't someone, Brendan, I feel like somebody took a stake in SI, whether or not it was Citadel or something, but I guess they're wrong. And if it's Citadel, everyone's probably going to rejoice on that one. But like down 56% today, the problem with trading this and holding it overnight is you don't have a choice. Like if you're long here, it opened up down 48% or whatever it was. So completely destroyed today. We did talk about it on our sticky note that the longs were going to be in, the longs were in, but you had to get out, and that's where scalping, sometimes, Arun, scalping will pay off, and it did today in SI.
Yeah.
BlackRock, someone just said.
There you go, BlackRock. My whole thing with SI was like, I know at the beginning we talked about how there's a massive short float and whatnot, but short flows don't matter unless you get to a point where people are going to panic. And for me, SI being underneath $10 automatically makes me think $10 will be the first trigger on those. You get something like that where you can get people to panic on that, then the short float it becomes a factor, right? Because then how many people are actually short underneath 10 with tight stops? And I'm not talking retail. I'm thinking if you're shorting $8 and $9, then for tons of shares, where would you put your stop is what I'm thinking. And a big round number like 10 would probably activate the shorts, causing an aggressive move, especially with much larger short interest, right? So the fact that we didn't get there and we just fizzled off that initial push up towards like 850, it makes perfect sense. And then you fade it. Now, would I have participated? Yes. Did I participate? No. Why? Because you got to pay for shorts, and I wasn't going to do that. So that's pretty much it. I really don't have much else to say apart from just the logic of the whole short what's called the short ratio.
What we
the percentage,
short interest.
Sure, the short interest,
short
right?
flow, yeah.
When you factor that in, you have to be aware that it has to get to a point where you think people are going to panic. Anytime you factor that into potential trades, right? Just because it's a big number doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a huge run. It's got to get to a level where it's going to cause people to run for the door. That's a great place to be if you're going to go against that short interest. So if they're shorting 82%, going long north of 10 makes perfect sense to me, I think.
Before we go back to Brendo, though, let's just hit a couple registers here. So right now, CRM, Oops, Brittany. We did it again and again. And there's CRM, 188 long, 50 cents now in the money off that one. So that's going to be a good trade. And, you know, we went long CRM, right? So maybe we went short something. How about Amazon? We just got Amazon out at 83. You know where we shorted it? This was 10 minutes ago, 91.30. We shorted Amazon, and we just got it out. Well, I mean, we're still in a little bit of it. We're still in 30% of this trade. But we got a piece out there at 15. Then we got a piece out at 10s, and then we just got another piece out down there at the 200 for 83 for 50 or 60 cents, whatever the heck it was there. And then CRM flying right now as well, back up to the upside. So we're going to put on a couple decent trades right now for you, including this CRM trade, then the Amazon trade. So here we go again, man. Something good there happening in CRM. Maybe we can get it back to the upside right now off of that early take of 188. The market's kind of, you know, sort of smiley faced back to the upside right now. You're taking out VWAP on, well, hopefully we're taking out VWAP on this name. That's where my, yes, sir. That's where my next piece is going to be. There we go. We just got a 60 fill right there. So there's the in on CRM. There's the couple outs, 36 cents, 60 cents. Now 79 cents. Hopefully that's 69. Hopefully we break through that and we get it back up to the upside, because that's where VWAP is right now. 79, 188.79. We're going to stick an offer there, and if we're lucky enough to grab that, we will do that as well. Let's just keep on getting out of these trades, man. If they're going to be in the money for us, let's get them out. But I want to hold the rest. One more fill at 188.80 here, and then we'll hold the rest for the dream. Hopefully back to 190 on Sir Salesforce. Thank you, Mark Benioff.
I was just reading more about that Silvergate. Sean, you were in fact correct, along with Susquehanna. 7.5% stake there for Citadel and Susquehanna. That was, I was just saying it, like that was 2 weeks ago. And we can't even remember. It's, there's a lot that goes on. But yeah, ouch for both of those. We'll wrap things up here with NEO, trying to get back to the upside here, now up 2.75% after starting the day under big time pressure. I mean, the market obviously helping. It was a JP Morgan downgrade today, coming off earnings yesterday that were largely below estimates for NIO.
All right. Just back to me here on this one. You probably didn't trade this today, but we wanted to get this short, and we did exactly that. So yeah, the market's blasting my guy there, the professor. So we just shorted it into yesterday's close, which was 880 right there for NIO. So that was the reason why we went short. It started the day down here. We just waited for this fill to come in. It does exactly that. Again, I don't like trading some of these names off the open until I actually learn that lesson. You know, at some point I'm going to have to and stop being so aggressive off the open, like with CRM and Meta and things like that. But we let it go down. It comes right back up, and then we get that fill, man. You got to be waiting around for fills or you're not going to get them. So there it is at 75. Look at this take all the way back down into these levels again. Short, short, short. All these outs happens again, out, out, out again before eventually it takes out the top. I don't believe in the long, but the long was not wrong as it goes all the way to 910 here, where we are right now. So NIO, again, one of my top stocks today. I'll talk about losing stocks. I just got to have them, and we do, and we're going to get to them. It's just so far we've lost on Tesla today. We've lost on Microsoft. We've lost on Ford. We'll get to that. That was crazy. And then that's it. And then CRM early, but making that money late. We just are right now. We start ringing some kind of register. We are back in right now to Amazon. Amazon, off of that buy, just took off right back up to the highs again as this market. We're probably going to get stopped out of this. Amazon right up to the upside right now. We're short at 42s again right now. Not a great average price. Was not expecting it to really rip up. 80 cents right there. So nice move upside. We are re-engaged in this short right now on Amazon. But yeah, this market, Arun, I think the shorts, Nepa, are not good here today. I mean, this is a nice rally back. We're just taking it out. Apple's $1 in the money. CRM's 50 cents in the money. But this trade right now is 30 cents or 15 cents out of the money on this short here for Amazon. But we're going to get out if it takes out this top, which we're right here right now, just a matter of time. Where is my out exactly? It's very close. Let me put it that way. If you say 60, you're pretty close. So get ready to rock and roll here. These futures are really starting to take off.
Yeah, talking about futures, we were talking about 55 being the level, that threshold that we need to cross to turn the longs on. Here, it's drawn on this chart. Now, Going into about lunchtime or so, I did have a short here. Rode that one for a little bit. Went all the way down to 42, 43. I'm like, no, I think we have a chance. And then I got, when we failed to take that low the second time, or not the low, but the previous dip down area, the second time I was like, no, I got to walk away. And then I walked away from this. And then we got that break, right? And this is when Sharif was like, oh, what's going on? And I was like, oh, it's just stop runs. Not that, it's like it needs to settle up first. Well, it turns out they didn't need to settle up. They just decided to go straight up. So although I made some money on the short, couldn't participate in the long. It was just one of those quick moves where I needed some more action, just didn't trust that, especially when we're getting closer and closer to the highs like that. The initial flush up tends to be messy. That's why I like to let it kind of clear up a little bit. And in this case, it just wouldn't give me what I needed, and it just took off. Now it's at 80. So I'm gonna have to drop the next plan here for the market. As it's coming up, what do I have left in terms of levels to the upside? Right here, 39.90, that's next up on deck. Let's see if this market still has a strength to go another 10 points. If it does, there's a chance, well, I mean, at this point with 55 being gone, there's obviously it's a long now, but now with 90 being the next resistance area and this strength, this market should have the juice to keep on going and start hitting off checkpoints, and maybe 4,000 is in play as well at this pace. As long as it can maintain the pace, then we should be just fine to get to 4,000. Preferably, obviously, I would like to be long, and now I'm fairly content with what I see. I want the long, but I'm not going to pay it. And with how much time we have left, we have 90 minutes left, and there's a lot that happens between now and the close, right? So around 3 o'clock, in about half an hour, you're going to see some activity. Tends to be the first batch of programs turning on. 3:30, as you get into the final half hour, another set, and then around essentially with the imbalances coming out of 350, that's when the activity really picks up. So can this market reasonably come down without being too aggressive for me to get along? That's what needs to be seen here for me to step into this market. But again, with these levels marked off, I should probably delete this 55 now that it's gone. With these levels marked off, now we definitely need to kind of figure out what the next plan is for tomorrow. We may not get a trade that kind of fits the criteria for today, so we'll figure it out for tomorrow. I'm still going to work with these levels, whatever's left here that you see on the screen, the 15, the 90, and possibly the 20. If we have something to do there, then great. Otherwise, we're just going to have to sit on this and kind of wait this one out.
I mean, 12,000 there on the NQs, man. I mean, that just got taken out again. So, nice move up there for the Qs, and it just continues to go longer. Like, I'm just sitting here. We got stopped out of Amazon. We're still in it, but we got the majority of them out there. So hopefully it can come back to the downside. We reloaded it, but we took an L on it anyways. I'm sort of thinking that, you know what? It's kind of like once the market makes really strong turns like that. I mean, we have Apple. Apple's $1.20 in the money. Salesforce moving upside as well. Tesla's struggling at 190. And the reason why I'm thinking about this is like I really want to short Tesla here. I feel like at this 190 area, like against this 191. But that's kind of what we did with Amazon there. Like we went short. Knowing. I mean, we don't know. We just took another out there at 50. But I don't know where it's going. It's just like why. When the market's like this, there's two ways of thinking, and you're lucky because you can sort of just trade not lucky, but that's you focus on the futures, so you don't have to worry about like, hey, market's strong, stock is weak, what am I going to do? You're really only looking at one thing there. I mean, there's obviously different factors, but for me, it's like when the market makes a drastic turn like this, I almost think that instead of fading these pops, what I should really be doing is looking for something that, we can get some strength in that may have been like teetering on strength and then now has that upside sort of potential to blow up to the upside. And I look at it, I mean, Amazon just got pulled back in, which is great. I mean, now it's really starting to work for us on it. Like this couldn't have happened, honestly. Like this happens 2 minutes ago, I don't even get stopped out, but at least we got back into it now that it's falling back down. But come on, Amazon, come on, I thought we were friends. But anyways, there it is there. So I was just looking at a name like Apple, right? Where, it's not weak, but it's just doing nothing all day pretty much, giving us these shorts. Then once it finally blows up on news, you just sort of see what happens to it. It takes off and just keep on going. I mean, this is not Apple news specific. This is the market telling Apple where to go, right? So it's straight up to the upside there. And it's just like, even though Apple's still underperforming the market, it's like you get that huge push to the upside. It just bounced off 46 twice. Should have noticed that as well. But yeah, that's something right there. So, you know, as I say that, of course, one of the weakest names, just getting weaker by the second. This Amazon trade, man, it's a good thing we took that back in. Look where this thing drops. Unbelievable, Arun. Oh, that was a day maker right there if I don't get stopped out. Oh, man, we had a full position on for that 91.60 break, and I only put on half of it back. You know what?
Money, 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 money.
We made it. We made it. I mean, look, we're going to be probably up more after this is done than we were before because the hit was 40. What the hit was, we were short at 42 there, and we got out at 60 break. I told you it was, so that's like a 20-cent hit. So the fact that now we're in the money 75 cents, you know, gives us basically 1-to-1 on that 20-cent hit on double the shares. So now that we bring it back down, you know, good thing we held that. Look at that, right back to the spot. Can you believe this, Arun? Like, this is the thing that you don't have to. It's just frustrating because, like, this, like, you're right until you're wrong. And then it just holds it to the basically. I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
I don't even want to throw it back to you.
What am I going to say? I want to know what I'm going to say.
I think you're going to say I need to expand the zones because getting stopped out a little bit too early. Maybe if I know that Amazon has this potential, like we just saw Amazon go from basically from 50 down to 80, so that's 70 cents. I should be giving it more than 20. If I know the potential's 70, but anyways, that was my stop area. Listen to yourself.
So one thing I will say
Holy
to that,
shit,
though,
it's $1 now in the money. By the way.
One thing I will say to that though is like, can you actually pull up that chart? Why would you choose that price, specifically that location?
This?
Yeah.
Well, because so basically I was really choosing. So what I was really choosing was this location.
Okay, so if you zoom it back and go into the morning.
Yeah, I know this area.
That's all resistance. That's what, it should be above that at the very least.
Dude, I said I knew what you were gonna say.
Is that what I was gonna say?
Yeah, okay. I didn't give it enough room, and I should have given it up to here. You know, but the thing is like, so this is the thing. Oh man, maybe I need to put these on. I'll maybe see a little bit clearer. Greg told me, go, do you want to borrow my glasses? Greg's wearing like Horace Grant, like old school baller glasses over there. So these are to see a little, these were blue light, but I mean, I got to clean these at this point. No, so the point is that I think it's the reason why is the position sizing. I had probably too many shares at that price so that when it broke higher, I was giving it like only 10 more cents. When realistically, if I had a little bit less, I probably would have, you know, waited to hold for that spot there. But anyway, since we've been talking, Amazon just retraced up about another 30 cents. So anyways, all right, let's go. That's it. So that's a good one for us on Amazon. I'm glad we did reload that. CRM now, and I mean, and this is the other side of the coin, right? CRM goes up right there. I take 40% out. You know, and then we wait. I mean, that's unbelievable that we missed that by 2 pennies. That's another thing. But here it comes right back into this level again. Maybe this is a reload. Let's reload CRM at this spot. What's up, Brendan?
Daily occurrence, it seems this week. RNG, the latest to get a possible takeover note just coming through. Big move up here, 3% for RNG. There was also job cuts announced for Citigroup. Not really doing anything, but about 2,500 job cuts coming for Citi.
All right, well, Sean cleans his glasses. I actually do want to go back to that Amazon thing because I think there's a great lesson there. Is like the market doesn't necessarily care where you want to put your stops. And that's why you should always respect what the stock itself is showing you, right? So the stop should, I think a lot of people like to do this where it's like, okay, I only want to give it, I don't want to lose too much, so I'm going to give it only to this specific price. Where if you have lines drawn or levels drawn, where objectively, where should the stop be? And then you size up based on that. And I think that's a mistake that happens a lot more than often than you would think. You overplay your hand, you get into too much size, and then you're like looking at the level 2 or the P&L, and you're like, and then you start making decisions that are detrimental to you, right? So if 92 is the high, then 92 is the stop. That means whatever price is available for your trade, you size accordingly based on how much you're willing to risk up to 92. That's when you know you're wrong. That's when the market tells you you're wrong, and that's when you walk away from the trade. Up until that point, if it means $1.50 risk means X amount of shares and a dollar risk means a little bit more, then that's how you got to play it. But always respect the levels that you have drawn, because I think once you zoom in and you start working with much tighter, I guess, focus, then every single tick matters. And that's, I think, a very dangerous thing to be doing if you look at the much bigger picture. Because what's the point of looking at the daily chart and the 5-minute chart and the 15-minute chart if you're absolutely zoomed in on what just happened, right? So I think that's a great lesson, actually, for a lot of traders, especially with new traders that are always watching us and trying to learn from what we're talking about. We're always trading shares here. It's not options or whatnot. I'll trade futures contracts if we ever end up getting a position while I'm on camera. But pretty much it's in the equity and the futures market. That's where we're at. We're not in the options game. I'm sure people talk about options in the chat, but for us, it's mostly equity and futures.
Okay, so super chat time. What's up to MMMMMM here? Thank you for the $10. How do you deal with unscheduled speaker that happened at 1:35? I mean, just sort of come back to what we were just talking about right there with Arun. It's, you just got to respect the levels, and wherever your levels are. First of all, we went back into CRM, and I just think that you trade off those levels. There we go. We'll take a piece out. What? I'm not out on CRM. There it is. Okay, we can. Yes, sir. Look at this reload on CRM there. Hopefully this will continue to work. We'll take a 25 if it's going to give it to us. Why not? So anyways, good question. And I just think that the speaker came 120. So where are we right here? Oh, right there, Fed Bullard. Was he unexpected? I don't know. I just think you just watch the levels. I don't think you worry about it too much. You trade what you see, and that's that, right? And I think that when you see that, you want to try to figure out what exactly they're saying about. I think it was about continuation on the rate hikes right there, and sees a potential stop in the second half for rate hikes. I'm going to get Brennan to confirm what that was from Bullard at 135 right there. But I would just say play the momentum, right? If you could see it's changed here. So now buying these dips, right? It changed. From the morning, it was maybe a little bit of a different story. And again, it depends. But, shorting any of these pops would have worked. There was really no dips there. All of these dips, again, we're sort of watching the market as it's already happened. But very flat day to now starting to get going. So sometimes stock just need reasons to go up. And that gave it one right there at 135. So, it's kind of hard to answer that question because it's dependent on what the guy or she or he is saying. There would be, if it was her, Lael Brainerd, then, that just, or was it Fed Bostic? I don't know which one came out at that time. But, you want to just play the levels and make sure that if nothing has changed in your macro view, then just stick with it, right? I mean, rates aren't going anywhere in the next month or whatever. I mean, when you come in tomorrow, the rate is still going to be what it is, right? So, trade with caution whenever you see those kind of numbers come out, and that's about it. So, please explain my Ford trades. Yeah, I'm confused too, Momo, and I'll do that in a second on what I was doing on Ford there. I actually called Fahad over here, and I was like, look how stupid I am on Ford. And I'll talk about that in a minute. I just want to go over this trade quickly here. Amazon, I'm going to take another piece out right now. We just got low on this name again. We got into the 90s. So I'm going to put a bid down there in case it flushes one more time. Ford is like, I didn't see, I want to see Cocaine Bear. Has anyone seen Cocaine Bear? We were too busy. I was going to go this weekend, but couldn't get time away to go do that. So hopefully I'm thinking into March break, my kids are going to go with my mother there, well, both my parents, for a couple nights, and hopefully we'll be able to go see a movie. But I feel like Amazon is cocaine retail right now. I mean, this stock is just like boom, boom, like that's a dollar move. And like you were saying, Arun, it's like, okay, play the levels, but respect them. So Amazon right now, we're going to try to get out of that one if it comes back in to like this 91.10 area. Got the glasses on here so I can see better.
There you go. It'll fly in them too. It'll work out. It's looking pretty good. You should wear them all the time, actually. That's going to be Sean's.
I never know if anyone's being serious around here.
Sean, no, I actually think you should wear them. You got a different look to you now. It's a little.
I like it. More professional?
Yeah. You gotta unbutton one, and throw on a gold chain too.
Yeah, you know what? I actually said to Marissa, I was like, I'm gonna go buy one of those big ass gold chains. But then I need to how do you wear it? I gotta wear it outside of the shirt?
Yeah.
Is that a look?
If it's really big, you gotta wear it outside.
I'm gonna buy a fake one.
Yeah, well, sure, whatever works. Going back to the super chat about how to deal with unexpected information. I think the very first thing you have to do, especially with a Fed move like this, so for me, actually, we'll kind of go through my thought process on the futures, right? So obviously, we weren't looking at this as something that was expected. When it's expected, you're prepared for it. So you're like, oh, if it gets above here, I'm going to do this and do that. If you're just waiting on this market to get past this specific level, and all of a sudden, this market does something like this, and you don't know where it's coming from, why it's coming from, the first thing to do, I just go hands off and I just kind of wait. That does mean that you may miss out on some trades, but I'd rather be more certain about the probability of my trade working out than rushing to get in just because something is happening. You don't, like, as much as you want to be prepared for the market, the last thing you want to do is overplay your hand and just follow just because everyone's running in one direction. In this case, to the upside, because something came out from somewhere. If it technically makes sense, like this is the breakout that you were looking for. Now, I was looking for this breakout too, but I've seen this flush so many times that for me, I was like, I want to see what happens when we come back down. I never got that info, so I missed out. But the very first thing I think you should do when you deal with information that you don't know what's coming, all of a sudden it moves the market in a big way, is just step back, because the market will digest that information. And at times, it could have been something like a pop with a complete reversal. And last thing you want to do is go long just because it broke a level, right? So by stepping back, you'll let the market digest a little bit. It'll give you enough information to work with if there's a trade there. If there is no trade there, there's nothing wrong with missing out on a trade. There's nothing wrong with not taking a trade if you're not confident with the trade, the accuracy, and the probability of that setup. So in this case, there could have been a trade there. If you obviously now that it's up at 75, you could say, oh, I could have easily gone long, but that's after the fact. What would you have done if the market was right here, not knowing why this market popped about 15 points? For me, I didn't know. I wanted to see what would happen on the way back down. At least that way, I have technical confirmation that this break is legit. Never got what I wanted, and then it took off, and I'm okay with that. And that happens. So I think just for your own sanity, dealing with all these Fed speakers that are unscheduled and making comments, because it's happening a lot now, is just to step back a little bit. Let the market do what it wants to do. Once it settles up, once it gives you the information you need to make a trade, then take the shot. Because trading, as much as you want to execute and make money, you're only going to really make money if the probability is there and your accuracy is there. And if you're just jumping on everything, the accuracy is going to dip a little bit. It's not going to be beneficial. So I would just kind of give up being involved in everything and more towards being involved in the ones that you're comfortable with the risk being there, with the accuracy being there, the probability, everything's kind of figured out, and then you take the trade. At least that's how I trade anyway. So that's how I would have handled this, and that's how I did handle this actually. And now I'm just sitting on this going, okay, what's my next move? I moved on from it. I missed it, I moved on from it. Now what do I do next with about an hour and change left in the day?
That's all you can,
Yeah, that's all you can do.
That's literally all you can do. I mean, that's why I was talking, like, unless something's dramatically changed, and, then maybe you'd start to look for something else, but, just look, keep focused on what you're trying to do. Look, we just missed that Amazon. That's embarrassing, man. We were at 91.90. New position alert right now. Cocaine Baba right here to the upside. Hopefully that can continue to go right now. Someone said that that's not a cocaine bear, it's a cocaine raccoon. While here in Toronto, I think raccoon is our national animal. Or
it's a beaver.
No, Toronto. I mean,
Toronto's national.
National's not a Toronto thing, obviously, but I think
municipal animal.
Municipal animal, I think I think it is raccoon. There's a Mississauga a team. I don't know if it's it's not OHL team, but the raccoon is the face. So, anyways,
kind of scary.
all right. What I want to talk about quickly was we went long Alibaba. Alibaba seems to be respecting VWAP at least, and then not having a problem trying to bounce off VWAP right now. So we're gonna go long against that here for 89.30. I mean, do you know what our national sport is?
I want to say hockey, but I mean, it should be hockey, right? But I mean, basketball was in.
It's not basketball, yeah, it's lacrosse.
It's lacrosse?
Yeah, see what I'm saying? So it's just like it's lacrosse. And you think it should be basketball because of James Naismith, but I mean, we invented basketball.
What country is hockey? I don't know. India? Where'd they get the ice from?
No.
No,
Kabaddi.
Can somebody confirm, is India's national
sport is hockey?
Field hockey?
Field hockey.
Field hockey.
Okay, fine. Field hockey, fine.
Is it not cricket? It's not cricket? Oh, I can't deal with this.
I can't. I just
can't. I just can't.
Like, it's too much.
I mean, listen, I've never seen a lacrosse game in my life. I don't even think I've seen the highlights for a lacrosse game. Yeah, I don't even think that's coming across. No, I know they exist. I don't think I've seen that.
Those are wild, bro. Wild games. Like, you can literally take your lacrosse stick and beat the man down with it. And there's like, it's not even like a penalty. I mean, there probably are penalties, but I mean, I'm watching it and it's like whack, 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 whack. I'm just like, what is going on with these? Look, lacrosse is like, my kids are watching it with me. Like, they play hockey. They're like, what is going on that right now? Yeah. So people, I said Kapadi. I said that. What was it? Okay, well, whatever. No one is confirming what Pratt is saying right now. So, I mean...
No, actually, there's a lot of people that are saying...
Oh, are they? I just saw someone say LOL. No way.
It's field hockey.
Oh, field hockey.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Okay.
But I thought it would have been cricket.
I mean, that's why I was wondering.
I mean, I get it's a British and Australian thing, but at the same time, like, actually, rugby. Rugby is...
Yeah, it's called Kabaddi. Oh, rugby for Australia.
Oh, now I'm thinking New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah, the All Blacks.
Yeah.
You look like you could play rugby. That's how I hurt my knee.
That guy over there can play rugby.
So did I. So did I. We all played football, but I actually played rugby, which is where I hurt my knee, which is why, I have a knee issue right now, but it's all good. Okay, yeah, these are Gunner glasses. That's right. That's exactly right. Gunner glasses right here. So thank you for noticing. And the reason why I put those on is from my Amazon trade, me getting stopped out right there. We put the short back on, but it was like, that's where we said, hey, maybe we need to zoom out a little bit more. And then we talked about some of those levels there, coming through on the morning of 80 instead of 50 that I used right there as my stop. I mean, I just upped it a little bit higher. And again, being afraid of losing was really why. And that's right. I mean, that's exactly right. Had too many shares for that spot, but it's all good. We made some money back as it went back to the downside. Still looking to make more, obviously, on all these trades. Okay, so newest position right now is Alibaba. I'm still letting this Apple trade just go on. I'm waiting for this to break, so I don't even have any offers out on Alibaba. I'm actually waiting to get longer into this level, and now that I have these glasses on, I'm happy with this level right here. If we break back down near VWAP, I have to stay true to how I trade. That's what we're gonna look for. But I like that level, and I think that makes sense. So a break a little bit lower than 20, and we will get out of Alibaba. So that's that level right there. And then Apple, I'm almost ready to ring the register on this one. We're up in the money now, $1 on this trade. We really shorted the living, out of Apple right there. It's not gonna be my #1 stock, but it might as well be. Meta, still my #1 stock off of that crazy trade. And the funny thing is, Arun, this goes back to exactly what you were saying again. Like, I don't need to make too many trades. It's just that, like, we got short this early, and this is still my #1 stock, despite it being 3 o'clock, and we were out of this name at 10:20. So, like, we shorted it, got out right there, pretty much got a nice bottom tick and another bottom tick. I feel like we got back into Meta, but we didn't. So we're right back into these levels again. So look, this would have been another good short opportunity, as I am going to sneeze in just a matter of seconds. I'm going to mute my mic.
I love the camera staying on you.
You might want to take it off me there, big guy.
All right. Now that was both of us. Now he's sneezing.
I feel like I'm going to sneeze.
Yeah.
I'm not in here.
He's going to sneeze. But
I'm not going to sneeze.
As you guys can see on my board, I've just got one position left. Well, one position for the afternoon. It's FedEx. This has been kind of moving up all day. But FedEx is trying to play inside of a much larger range, and this is kind of what I wanted to play with here. Let's go to a bigger chart. This is FedEx, and this is pretty much where we are, right? Near the top end of this range. Market seems to be going sideways. FedEx has been running up all day. I'm looking for an end of day turn. Low risk at this point. It's going to cost me $1 to take a look and see if we can't actually take a shot back down towards 205, well below 205. So the risk reward is about 1-to-1. And why not play a shot when the market is starting to go sideways a little bit after that extended rally from that 50 points. So now we're at 75, up 20 points, and FedEx is also going sideways. So I'm in and out of the money a little bit, but we're going to give it some time. We've got about just under an hour before imbalances come out at 350. Market has been, for the most part, all through everything we've done, it's about 0.5 on the NASDAQ. So it's been somewhat muted. And I think that's been the case all week. It's a conversation I actually had with another trader, is that The volatility has shrunk, obviously. So what you are used to, possibly you may have started trading last year or the year before. That was a completely different market. That was an abnormal market that a lot of us haven't seen in a long time. Now we're coming back to what the market used to be like, which is much tighter ranges. You've got to be more precise with your entries, your exits. You're not going to get multiple chances for missed trades. So if you do have a trade that you want to take, you got to step in and take it, because this is not the market that's forgiving, right? What I mean by that is, in my case, let's say I wanted that 55 long. If I didn't take it when it was offered, I wasn't getting it again. In maybe last year's market, it's entirely possible that I could have gotten it again. It would have came back one or two more times, and I would have gotten filled, right? So it's a different market. And as the markets change, I think people's strategies and expectations also have to change. So if you're used to the last 2 years of trading, 2020, 2021, I think even first half of 2022, was somewhat similar in terms of volatility and risk and movement and momentum. Now you're starting to see how the market operates when you don't have all of that, and you've got to be able to finesse trades. And this is where your strategy and your ability to apply your reasoning and whatever else that you need to execute trades based on, that's where it comes in handy right now. This is the time to actually get that stuff in place and done properly, so that when another burst of volatility happens, and this market does this, and this is what tends to be like, it goes quiet, you may have a burst of activity for like a couple weeks, and then it goes quiet again. So when you do get that burst of activity, you need to be able to capitalize on that as fast as you can, make as much as you can, because when it goes quiet again, you're sitting in markets like this where there's one trade here, and maybe a few hours later there's another trade there, and then you gotta kind of wait the entire day to find another trade. So just be prepared, just be aware that this market is changing. You're seeing it right in front of you. This market is starting to slow down a little bit, and it's starting to affect people's, I think, ability, because they're trying to apply old logic to a new market, and you can't. You have to adjust as you kind of move with the market. Your volatility expectations have to change, and then your strategy has to change just enough. Not completely, just enough so you can account for the different volatility. Market is an ever-evolving thing, and that means our strategies and our approaches also have to be evolving as well.
So first of all, let's just go. Yeah, great talk there. Thanks, Arun, for all that. And I think psychology and understanding the market that you're in, I mean, that's the win right there. The minute you can figure out, what kind of market you're in. Dan Emmons talked about weak market with that move up. I kind of agree. I mean, it just how fast that just jaunted up like that. Boom. Like, I don't know. Let's wait to see what happens. But there goes Alibaba. I mean, this is going to be a good trade. We reloaded this down here. That's 39. That's 36. So our first out's 45. Then we just got a 49, 48, sorry, and now we're back up to this level where we're sitting here trying to get some 57. So we're getting pretty close to getting out of this one right now. Well, we'll see. I don't know if we're going to be out of it or not, but that's what we're looking at right here for Alibaba. Hopefully some more upside moves coming in right now. But, what I want to get at was we did have a super chat there for you on Google. If you just want to have a quick look at it, it's from Akash. Just talking about Google. So if you had any key levels or anything on Google, Arun will call up his chart and have a quick look at that for you. But, again, just one of those things that we can look in. And you know what? I said something about you the other day, and you actually kind of just mentioned it again right there. So I'm going to talk about it just quickly. And it was about how you can give the futures levels. Have you heard me say this before? Because sometimes you come on in the morning, you give the levels, but it's not just the levels. And you just said it right there when you were discussing it, so I'm glad you mentioned it, because I was talking about it too with you, about you. It's how you trade around those levels. Like, there's one thing for you to say, okay, it's, the ES has a range between this and this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that when it gets to that range, you're going short.
Yeah.
It's you're judging the underlying moves that maybe happened in the past candles leading up to it, or whatever. So I just wanted to say that, because someone came on the show and was like, Arun gives all these levels, but then doesn't say like what the plan of action is at those levels. But that's not the important thing. It's if you can identify what these levels are, then when the stock gets there, then you can react appropriately into those levels. Maybe I'm not explaining it properly, but let's go over to Brendan real quick wow, there goes Alibaba right now as it goes to the upside. I don't know what segment it is, so let's just go over to Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, into the final hour we go. Let's get you caught up to date on what you need to know as we head towards the end of the day here. It was all about yields breaking out today. This is the 10-year right now, back to 4.7.5. First time since November we've been at these levels, so a huge move to the upside. You can see, this is a daily chart, off the highs a little bit, which is helping the market overall. So yields, both the 2 and 10-year, pulling off a little bit. Back to the upside, helping this rally into the close. 0.5% right now for the S&P. The Dow leads almost a full percent to the upside. The Russell as well, all green. Good to see. 0.5% and 0.7 now for the NASDAQ 100. Back to the upside. I was watching this Citigroup popped up on a volume scanner once again. Again, some job cuts coming through this afternoon for Citigroup, and GitLab kind of went to sleep. Huge move to the upside on those price hikes, but has done nothing since. Volume dying off here as well for GTLB, guys.
Like, even when I'm on the, even when I'm off, I can't stop talking to myself. Like, I'm just saying, like, why is Alibaba, it's frustrating, right? But that's the market. Like, I mean, awesome. I mean, I told you, ever since we put these glasses on.
What's happening?
I mean,
You're on point?
This was happening. You know, Alibaba's here. So right there, so we found that level. And again, look, when we're going long 35s, let's just call it what it is. Okay, we're going long 35s there. I told you the out was at 20. That's 15 cents. We're now in the money, 43 cents. It's a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 trade. Hopefully we can continue to go to the upside. But we have broken out now past some of the levels that I sort of thought we'd get at. Well, I mean, we're right there right now. This was the main one at 60. We're well past that. So now the next level that we look at for maybe an out is going to be 90. The difference with this one is a key level of 90. Not that there's a difference there, but, you know, I could see us not getting too close to that level, but you know, we did have some nice moves back up to the upside to 91 here. If this market does want to keep on going, then hey, maybe we do get to that 91 level again, especially 90. So just so you guys know, we're out of about 60% of this Amazon trade on the way back up to the upside right now. So we'll still hold out. We'll still hold out for down here again one more time. But now I'm thinking about changing it to this level. But then, you know, all this winner could not be a loser if we did that. That's the 50 period. So yeah, maybe we'll just hold this back to view up and see if we can be right on a longer scale here, Arun.
Yeah, going back to levels and also tying in Google, the super chat for the Google levels that we were going to talk about. So whether I come in on give futures levels or even draw equity levels, when I like to put levels down, I mean, these are areas where and they're flexible too. It's not like just because I said 98 doesn't mean it's exactly going to be 98. With the futures, I tend to have 5 points of flexibility. So same thing with the Google area I'm looking at, right? So Google, I'm saying 98 would be a decent area to keep an eye on. Why? Because it's been an issue in the last little bit. How do I identify these areas? Well, where are we spending time? Time means volume. Volume means that you got to deal with that when you get to that point. So if we're coming from underneath and you're getting into a level that has area of volume where there's previous buying, previous selling, there's a lot of activity that needs to get taken out for that level or area to be broken. So for me, if we get up there and we start to hesitate, right up there, let me delete this one here. If we start to hesitate, then there's a short to be played there. Why do I care about these specific areas? Because that's where volume is. Volume is what's going to help you. In your case, if you want to go counter to the trend, because it's above you, so it's going to have to come up, and then you're going to have to fade against the current trend to kind of work with this resistance area. So if you're willing to do that, you need to have the information that says, you know what, it's time to do it. Because the last thing you want to do is this market's running up and you're like, oh, it's coming into a level that's marked off. Let's just go short. That's not how it works. The market needs to give you that information saying, you know what? Yeah, we're running into some volume here. That's going to be a problem. We may not be able to get through it. It may be time to turn around. So that's kind of how I like to play it is, this is the area that I want to work with. If we get into this zone here, I want to look for some shorts. Find me a reason to get a short going. If we can't and we start running through, well, this whole area that I was expecting resistance at, that's gone. That means we're above this 98 now. Now I can expect some support from above when we come back into this area. So that now flips me, flips my direction, flips my thinking. I was thinking short, we got through the zone, we got through the area, we broke the level. Now I'm thinking long. Now let's use that previous area that I was expecting to be resistance as support on the flip side of the trade. That's why I like to have 2 trades around every single area that I marked off. There's going to be 1 trade going into it, meaning in front of it, and if it breaks, I want to flip directions and go in the opposite direction. And with futures today, that's pretty much what I was playing with as well this morning, which was 39.55. We're going to play shorts. As long as I have a reason to play the short, I will play the short in front of 55. Did I? I did for a little bit, didn't like what was happening, and then I got out, and then the futures market goes and does this and takes off to the upside. That would have been the flip side long. If this had done this without the Fed speaking or without the Fed comment, that'd be all over this. Because of the way it happened, not a fan of exactly what's going on. So I kind of stepped away from it. But that's kind of how I like to kind of work with levels and areas, and why when I come on at 9 a.m., I say what I say, but at the same time, there's a lot that happens between me marking off lines on the chart and me executing trades, right? Sometimes I'll respect the levels. Sometimes I might see something in the market that makes me think, you know what, we might break this. I might want to participate in the break, and I'll go right up against a specific level. So I might be thinking short up until 55 breaks, but I might see something at 40 something, 44, 45. I'm like, you know what? I might want to take a long and see if we can't break that 55, and I'm already participating in it before we even get to it. That's a different type of trade, but at the same time, that's a possibility. So there's a lot of moving parts to taking a trade, and that's why I leave it up to you guys. Like, you have a strategy, figure it out. Like I'll mark the levels off because that's the levels I'm looking at, but when it comes to executing, you need to have your own strategy on how and when to execute your trades, and I think that's kind of what I leave it up to. When I come on at 9 a.m., I give you the levels and apply your strategy to that based on what the levels are.
There we go. Good. Thank you, Arun, for that one. I mean, that's the money talk right there. I mean, that's what I was getting at about those levels. So I'm glad that we got that confirmed. It's always nice to have Arun in. Normally, he's here every single day at 9 a.m. On our stream, in there and about, to talk about the futures. And Arun and I will be going at this for a week, and in 2 weeks when it's March break, and Neil won't be here, but Neil should be back tomorrow, and then we'll see Arun on the feed, hopefully tomorrow morning, with some more levels and whatnot on the futures. Okay, yeah, I mean, for the first time, I'll talk a little bit right now. For the first time since Fed Bostic, it came through, or wait a minute, was this move Bostic? Yeah, it was. Came into the play and into the field here. We are now trying to break back down below that 200 period right now. Sorry, the 50 period on the futures, back down below right now. So we'll see. That's the first little push down. So we did take advantage of that a little bit anyways when Amazon just hit, again, down to 11. We got 12s there. We were just waiting at VWAP, which was 8. So we take that fill as it's starting to come back down. Because we are, I mean, nervous. I don't think nervous is the right word, but because we are waiting and anxious about this Alibaba trade, we took another piece out at 72, and we just got another 80 right there. So unfortunately, now we're down to a smaller piece, and it's not unfortunate. I mean, this was a good trade there. It's just we're staring 90 in the face, and key levels and me, you know, we like to dance a little bit, so let's see if it comes up to 90. That's where we'll get out, but, you know, I think this was well taken. Again, giving ourselves 15 to 20 cents worth of risk. We will take this 40 cents plus right now back on the upside. So about a 3-to-1 trade right there for us. So pretty happy with that. And now we just wait and see what else can happen. Still on Apple. Again, I'm going to hold on to this piece. We did go long there early. And then, let's talk about something here. So Momo, you want to talk about Ford? So here we go. I'll tell you what happened here. I saw that battery news come out, and I went long. So these are me long. This is me longing here. All these plays in the battery space, right? So I saw them come out. They're reactivating their F-150, their production back to March 13th. They're going to restart going with that on March 13th. Then they talked about their AI and stuff like that coming through. So that's something pretty interesting. So I was going long, then I got stopped out. So I got stopped out right there once we broke 25. Well, that was the very last piece, but realistically, I said enough was enough once we broke these levels right there. So we took it out on a 30 break, basically. Then we started to go short, and then we got out again on, at that point, the 200 break. So in here, we lost like 10 cents, and the stock only moved like 10 cents. So that was the embarrassing part, because we went long, out, then short and out, and now it's just going back up to the upside. So again, ye of little faith in Ford should have just held out. But again, like it broke the pre-market low. So I apologize, Momo, but you know that when the low is broken, no Momo. So we got out of that one right there on that move to the downside. So that's what broke. We got out, and you know, if I had the glasses on, I might have been able to see that a little bit better, but unfortunately we didn't at that time. And it just broke the low and we got out. And so right now, unfortunately, there's not much action. I think that now that we're in power hour, let's find something that we can power up on a little bit. Just quickly here, DraftKings we were in and out of as well. This was a good trade until it wasn't. We were short DraftKings again here, and maybe we'll get into this name again. It's up 1.5% or 1.1%. We went short here, basically against this level right there, 36. So we go short 27. That's only 10 cents. We wound up getting some out at 7. So basically 1-to-1. Then it came up, we reloaded it and got out. So DraftKings, we're pretty much flat on this trade, which kind of sucks, but should have gone long again. Anything that broke, I mean, it's hindsight, right? You're going to look back and say, hey, why didn't we take all these long breaks? But, you know, the stock has to be there for that trade. And, you know, some of these names, I wasn't sitting there watching everything. So DraftKings, unfortunately, gets stopped out there. What do you guys want us to look at right now? Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's Momo talk. I mean, look. I've been watching you, Momo. Trust me. I see that some of the things that you've been saying about all this. Low volume, 100%. 100%. Like that's, when a stock doesn't have volume, that's why watchlist.tradertv.live, that's why Sticky Note, which is over here, you know, there's certain things of why they go on there, and it's because they're in play. Ford in play, but low volume. So that's the second piece of the pie. Thanks for pointing that one out, Momo. But yeah, watch out for your levels. Only take real shares, I feel like, when there's volume, because otherwise you're going to get chopped up like I did right there.
Yeah, I'm going through the chat, see if there's any questions, because there's nothing else for me to do
is there any
at
other
this point.
Stock here?
Somebody was asking, there's actually a good one. Well, it's a decent one that was, it got me really thinking. It's like, if there's a block trade that's put into the time of sales, does it affect the trading price of the stock for the following day? I don't think it does. It's just a deal that's off market that's just being sent into the time of sales. So
what, like the prints that are way outside?
Yeah. That should not affect.
I mean, it will probably affect for the lines and stuff like that, the moving average.
Not the charts. Does it affect the actual stock the following day?
No, I would say no.
I don't see a reason as to why it would. I don't have enough information to definitely say it doesn't. There might be some off chance. There's a 5% chance.
There are some people that believe that where those dark prints come is an indication of something.
So, like, I don't know enough to say on that. I don't think it does, but at the same, that's just my opinion. So I'm sure if you guys know where to find that that study that says, you know what, that doesn't affect it, please put it in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to say that no, because we see it all the time. 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. You come into the day, 8 a.m., all these prints get sent into the book. The charts go all over the place. Is that an indication? I haven't really tracked it, but a lot of the times you're going to see these 8 a.m. candles just be nuts, right? That's when all the prints get put in. And I don't know if, I don't think I've ever followed this and seen if they affect the stock that day going into the open. So
I don't think so.
Stuff that needs to be looked at, stuff that I don't look at just yet. But again, it's just food for thought at this point. Brennan.
Just reading through this note from Cantor Fitzgerald, analyst, just coming across here, guys, at 10 after, talking about buying. This is the first I've seen, I think, of this nature anyways. Buy Coinbase downside puts to play crypto contagion. And they're talking about Silvergate and what could possibly come as a contagion. But I mean, there's not much in the way of reaction to that. But Cantor even saying get short on crypto.
This is a situation where there's going to be a lot of consolidation. It's going to be a lot of consolidation in the market.
No, but it's like, so we just talked about it. So Cantor says one thing, and then we just saw it was Susquehanna and Citadel were going long on SI. But so it's like everybody has a different opinion.
But that's how the market is, though. You're always going to need a counterparty,
you need a buyer
right?
and a seller.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, Cantor Fitzgerald versus Susquehanna and Citadel, money versus money, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. Speaking of which, do you remember the time it was what's his name? Ackman versus Soros, I think it was?
No.
It was Ackman versus somebody.
Versus my uncle. Uncle Carl Icahn.
Icahn on Herbalife. Somebody won, somebody lost. I mean, you need a counterparty for this.
That was the best moment of CNBC history.
That was hilarious. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, Google it. Icahn versus
It was getting
Ackman.
sketchy,
It
man.
was
I'm not going to say
hilarious.
some of the words that were being used, but there was like, it was getting hot fire. And I remember, I think it was actually, the funny thing is, when you're talking about this Throwback Thursday right here that we had earlier today, I remember, it's funny because I remember watching that on this TV. So this is me. So I was managing the Toronto trading floor. All of these guys included in here. Neil, I think that might be Neil right there, actually, to be honest with you. So I was managing all these guys at the age of 23, a whole floor in Toronto, which is what this was, right? So this is me overlooking everybody here at a young age. And I remember it was on this exact TV that we were watching that. So that was actually really hilarious. What the hell, 300 likes? Thank you so much for that one on there. If you haven't seen it there, Bears vs. Bulls probably has the link. But anyways, yeah, more hair. Everyone, I keep telling everybody, like I was the same body weight, same everything back then. Maybe a bit skinnier, but you know, you put on a little bit of weight as you get a little bit older, but I think I've done pretty good. We just talked about that. I'm on the Peloton. Prad told me, Brendan, you went to a hotel and there was Peloton. So I think it's Hilton's, I think. We can correct me if I'm wrong. There is a hotel chain that puts the Peloton bikes in now your room for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you stay at the baller rooms like Brendan does, for sure, it's going to be in there. But then Prad was like, he thought you needed a subscription to use the Peloton bike, but you don't need a subscription. So that's why I want to go to Brendan.
For the classes, though, probably.
Oh, for the classes you do.
Yeah.
There's so you can get personal. Let's go to Brendan. I want to hear. Was it a Hilton or what was it?
It was at Blue Mountain. It was the Fairmont, I think it is, at Blue Mountain. But it was the same thing. Like you couldn't use it because unless you had an account, you couldn't actually log in. So yeah, I mean, why not have like a hotel account or something that they can sign up for that actual people staying in the hotel can use? But yeah, it was cool to see anyways.
So what, Prad, but you could still go on the bike, but nothing would have been on the screen. Right, so that's Prad, so that's what I was getting at right there. So, but it's a pretty high quality bike. It's a nice bike. I don't know how it compares to the ones, I'll talk to Brendan afterwards maybe about it, but how it compares to the ones in the gym. But, you know, if you do subscribe to it, I want to look at Peloton here in a second. You know, you do get a bunch. There's every kind of workout in there. You guys were just talking about that and how Fahad hurt his back and all that kind of stuff. And the one thing that's important, of course, about working out, I leave this to you and Sharif, is proper form. Right, so that you don't have any of those issues, and then giving yourselves. I heard Fahad was working his arms every single day, and you're telling him that that's absolutely ridiculous to do because you got to give yourself a little bit of a break.
He wants big arms, is what Fahad says.
He says he has the strongest legs in the office, so he needs to work. Correct, Fahad? Yeah.
He needs to work his arms to match his legs.
Right.
That's like completely opposite of what most people are trying. But anyways.
Well, look, if Fahad's doing opposite to like that's the thing, alpha male. You know, he ain't no sheep. You know, this man is trailblazing. New workout routines, going to be dunking on people. He's going to be racing Neil in the near future. I mean, there's a lot happening for Fahad, man.
Speaking of Neil, he'll be back tomorrow. Do you know? I guess I'll find out tonight. He's at home with this kid who's sick.
Yeah, I mean, his kid is sick, but I mean, his wife should be home watching them tomorrow. I mean, he was just saying that she had to go into work. That's all.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
We'll figure it out. I might be here
so.
tomorrow. I might not be here tomorrow. It all depends on what Niels tells me later on today.
I'll slide into your DMs later on and tell you. Or
there you go.
You know,
that's what the kids say nowadays.
That's what the kids say, but that's not. That didn't mean like that's not supposed to mean like that.
Not the way.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go, man. Back over to some trades. So okay, Amazon's coming in a little bit. It's not doing anything right now. Amazon's not. I mean, we're back at the high. Again for Amazon. I don't want to re-short this name. I think we've done pretty good shorting it and getting out where we needed to the point where we don't have too many shares left. But again, it's 320 right now into this day. Alibaba still kind of at the top. If there is any other names, yeah, let's go over to Tesla quickly because that was one that, okay. All right, so again, we talked about this name, shorting it here against that 190. I still feel like there isn't much. Like you said, Arun, I mean, you could take a 3-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, whatever charts you want. Right now, we only have 25 minutes until the imbalances. Well, it's 30 minutes until the imbalances, but we'll get that number in 10 minutes, and then we'll be able to figure out what's happening on the market on close. Personally, I don't like to take trades, too much past 345, which is why I use that 25-minute number right now. But hey, maybe a breakdown of Tesla. I mean, It's down 7%. There's probably not a weaker big cap name with reasons behind it anyways, whether or not it be SI is not big cap, but Tesla right now leading the way. AMC actually, Snowflake is another one down 11%. And AMC just hit the radar right now again. Why? Because we're at a key level right now for AMC at 6. So here comes AMC. Let's see, have we broken that today? So we did get as low as 590, but 590 is the price, if I am not correct. Let me just refresh this. Maybe a 3-minute will give it to us. No, that's today, 590. Okay, I'm going to look at this one here on a 20-minute chart. Yeah, so right into here. I think when this loads up, you'll see, yeah, right there. So here it is right now, right into here. So that bottom, wow, bottomed out to the penny again, it looks like today. Right there. 590. We have a radio station here in Toronto, The Fan, 590. I like to listen to those guys, but right there, 590 came in again on AMC. So into a weak market, look for that 590 to possibly hold again. Taking a long right now wouldn't be a horrible idea. It's just, we all know sort of the trajectory of AMC right now. I don't know if there's going to be enough volume into the close to be able to get a retracement back to 620. Like, why would you buy this name in the last half hour? So watch out for that 590 to break. You're below view up right now. You're below the 200 and the 50, looking like it wants to head lower right now. Advanced micro. That would be AMD, but here's AMC Holdings, looking like it wants to take 605, $6. Then you look for 590. I really think the only trade here is a short. Don't at me, everybody. It's just, I can't see volume coming in to make it a 6 long work enough to get you the right risk to reward to hold it against this. So I would say either a break of 590 or you wait to take like a 5 or 6 cent hit and go long around here, 95, 96 against that 90. So that's a level there for AMC to possibly look at here into the close. But I mean, Apple's not moving for me. Do you even have a position? You just have FedEx. You talked about that a little bit. What happened to your Airbnb? Did you go over that?
No, I lost that one.
Oh, you lost on that one?
I lost on that one, yeah. I mean, I went short. I was looking for the daily, and it just trended up. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. I mean, I'm going to take hits on a short that's in a market that's going up. So this is what happened on Airbnb. We got out. We were short here playing off the daily around 120. We're going to give it to 122. It just kept trending. It never caught a sell. All it did was just catch waves of buying and just went up. I mean, that's actually my biggest loser. That and then I made money on FSLR and NVAX, and then FedEx is probably going to be a loser. But all of that gets negated because I had a futures trade. So again, my risk on the futures is much larger than equity position. So even though in terms of points, it wasn't much, it makes me a lot more money than I lost on the equity side. I want to answer a question in the chat, and I think this is a great follow-up to what I was talking about earlier about volatility. And it was a question about how do you know when to adjust for volatility and like risk management, because this market hasn't really chosen a direction. So I'm going to take you guys back about 6 years. This is a chart. This is a weekly chart, by the way. This is what the market looked like from about 2013 up to 2017. Specifically, I'm looking at the 2017 period, right? This is a trend from 2200 on the S&P, and you can see the weekly, how tight it is. I like to keep the weekly up just so I know what I'm dealing with, because a lot of the times when the weekly chart is this tight in terms of movement, it means that you're probably not going to have a ton of volatility. It's going to be more swing trades that you just need to kind of catch them on a dip or on a pop or whatever you're going short, and then just let them work, because you can't expect too much. You can't expect to do too many trades. In markets like this, you're not going to expect to do too many trades. What's the range on this week, this one random week in 2017? It's about 35 points. In 1 week, 35 points is the range. So imagine that. And this was going on for a good full year or so. And then we got some volatility. So once I know that the weekly is starting to expand, up until this point, we were fairly quiet. And in terms of ranges, we were fairly tight. And then we started to expand on the way down. Now I can expand my volatility and my expectations, because now we're going abnormal to what the market's been doing for the last little bit, specifically on the weekly. And then we got a few weeks of activity here from about February or late January until about, seems like May. And then we started to trend up a little bit. We got back into that, action where we kind of start having smaller ranges. And then another burst of activity happens, and we continue that. And then essentially what happens is that carried right into 2020. And that's what, this kind of volatility is unusual. Obviously, you see that. I'm going back to 2013. You don't see bars this big. This is what we were trading in 2020. And this is why a lot of people made a lot of money, because momentum was going nuts, right? This is abnormal. And then this carried from the move down all the way back up, and it just kept going up. And now I'm going to shrink the scale a little bit. Went all the way back up for a full, 2 years, 2020, early 2020, right up until the beginning of 2022. And now 2022 was more of it was still down. We still had large bars. That means volatility is somewhat still there, but it starts to get quiet. And now this specific line, this is where 2023 started, and we really haven't taken anything out. So that's why you're seeing volatility not the greatest right now. It moves, but then it catches bids and it just starts going really sideways. Don't expect too much until we start breaking away on the weeklies and we start taking out weekly levels. I'm looking at 4,300 specifically on the weekly. If we start getting past that, we might increase volatility, or the Fed might do something crazy and volatility increases. But be prepared for markets that look like that. Then this is off the weekly. Don't expect markets that look like that all the time. So here we are with 2020, adapt. Keeping a much, much larger chart than you would ever trade. In my case, I don't trade based on the weeklies. I don't trade intraday trade based on my weeklies, but I want to know what I can expect coming up. And if I know we're starting to cross some areas where we might get some activity increase, then I know I can expand my expectations, expand my volatility factors in my strategy and whatever. But I would definitely keep a much larger chart, the weekly, monthly, whatever works for you, but just so you can see whether the market's going to be abnormal or if it's going to be within line with what it's been doing.
I like it, and that's perfect talk, man. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. Have some sort of an expectation in what you can expect for the market, and then open up your lanes, man. Look at the DXY right now coming back in a little bit here. So as you can see, the dollar's a little bit weak, so that's going to be good for some of these tech names and equities in general. So you're seeing some nice moves here. Apple. Let's go, man. That's a bang trade right there. $1.50 in the money. $1.50 in the money for Apple today. That's going to be a good trade for me. We're net positive today. I mean, we're cruising. Everything is all good. And then look at Alibaba. Uh-oh. I can see clearly now. The glasses are on. I mean, it's just like we have $90 right there. So that was a level that we sort of thought we could come into play. Again, we've emptied out our levels there, and now you're back up to 90, so that's going to be a good trade here. Now moving forward, let's just keep on going with that. Now Alibaba to the upside and Apple to the upside. Amazon, I still have these outs up here. We got out of the majority of this trade, obviously. We've talked about this. We have about 20% left on this position. And yeah, it's come back up, so we haven't done a great job of getting this position out, but still, net rising in all of this. And there goes Amazon. My out is going to be, I didn't do that expansion on this trade again. We could wait for it. Upside here, it's just now that we're coming into the close, we're going to get this number from Brendan very, very soon on that imbalance number. It's just, I don't really want to put on a new position right now. So I'm going to close this off at 70 if we break 70. But you know what? Let's just make this a little bit higher here. Let's go to 91.85, maybe where we should have been in the first place, that level. I'm not going to worry too much about these pre-market levels. I'm just going to worry right now about the levels that we've bounced off of here intraday. So that's 91.85 there for Amazon. And I don't really want to put on a short, especially with the DXY coming back in like this right now. So you can see the sort of the opposite movements here. Unfortunately, I don't pay for Team Trading View, so I keep getting these ads, but okay. Right there, nice move up on the futures, almost the complete opposite right now for the dollar. So we're still rocking and rolling here. Pretty happy with all of these trades. Alibaba trying to break right now, but bouncing off 90. So yeah, lots of stuff to go with, man. But right now, we're going to go over to Brendan at the big desk and see what's happening now.
Hey guys, Small Cap brought to you by True Trading Group. They offer premium tools, mentorship, community, and will help you learn and trade and profit. Click the link in the chat. Check them out today. Shout out to TTG, our friends over at True Trading Group. Here we go. Busy day as far as most of these are concerned. I was actually surprised by this, but the CDIO on this note today, new Chinese patent coming through, but this thing's been running all week long. Third day in a row to the upside here for CDIO, still holding on to a decent move today. This is actually today, so this was yesterday. That's a 10-minute chart. 220 million to sell, I just heard in my ear. ONCS, another one moving around here 2 days in a row as well, back to the upside today. No significant news or additional news anyways, for either ONCS or this MTC. $2 just getting taken out there for MTC right now, trying to get back to day highs. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, this market on its day highs here, still pushing to the upside. And as the market's moving up, there's another question I saw in the chat that I wanted to answer. It's like casinos use the term points instead of dollars, so people don't feel like they're losing money. I think that's how traders should be too, to be honest. I know there's more to it. You said, do you think stocks do the same tactic? I think as a trader though, focus on the points, not on the dollars, because as soon as you change your share size, the dollars change as well. And if you're paying attention to the dollars, it's going to be hard to scale up. You're like, oh my God, it's $100. Oh my God, it's $1,000. Oh my God, it's $10,000 per this. It starts to affect you. I think if you go points, it's like, oh, it's 50 cents. It's always 50 cents, whatever your share size is. So if you focus on that, it takes you away from kind of distracting yourself with the dollar value. Yes, you're going to make and lose whatever based on your share size, but I think that helps you as a trader by focusing not on the money, but on the points. And when I take futures positions, doesn't matter what size it is, it's always points. I'm like, oh, I'm making a point or 2 points or 3 points or 4 points, whatever, or 10 points. I care about the points. I don't care about the size. I mean, obviously I got to be smart about what sizes I'm taking based on what risk I'm putting up. Obviously I do that math, but once I have taken the position, I just focus on the points, because at the end of the day, you want to make the right decisions by focusing on the points and not the dollars. I think it helps you in a way by keeping you from making decisions that are more about, oh, I want to lock in some profit. I want to lock in some profit. It's make the right decisions when it's necessary. So for me, points, I think it's a lot better than focusing on the dollars. And then one thing, let's go to my chart, guys. Nat gas, there's been a question about Nat gas. We talked about it earlier, and obviously after it's been, doing this, or has been doing this trend down from like 680 all the way down to $2, and now it's bounced. The trend looks like it's broken. It's above 250. I'm marking off 265 as a potential area that could be in play. 265. The thing with Nat gas, for anyone who hasn't traded Nat gas contracts, it might look like it's only 14 or 15 cents, but it doesn't move in pennies, it moves in thousands. So there's a lot to get through from 279 to 265. There's a lot of volume, a lot of levels that you need to get through. So just be aware of that if you are looking at nat gas contracts, but definitely looks like the trend that we've been looking at on the daily has somewhat gone away now. Let's start thinking longs here, potentially south of 275. It seems like there's going to be something down here around that 272 area going down to 265. Let's see if this holds up. Given how aggressive nat gas is, for all we know, we can come in tomorrow and nat gas could be below 265. You just got to be aware of that. If we get through this, we probably have a chance to keep going down. If we are trading into this, there's a chance of a bounce. If we expand past 285, there's a chance to get to 3 even. You just got to go day by day on nat gas. It's very tricky to carry things over given all the factors involved in calculating nat gas. And be aware also with these contracts, nat gas contracts, oil futures contracts, they expire monthly. They roll monthly, right? They're 2 months out, rolling monthly, 3 days before the 25th of every month or something like that. It's a complicated process, so know when your expiration is for the contract you're trading. If you don't have an idea, or if you have no clue what I'm talking about, just go to UNG. UNG is probably safer for a lot of people that don't trade oil commodities or even energy commodities. It's just an ETF, and it's going to have the exact same chart, probably better off for most people anyways at this point. But if you are familiar, just be aware of your expiration dates because you do not want to take delivery of those contracts.
Okay, yeah. Be funny, get like 1,000 cubic meters of oil or get nat gas pumping into your place. Okay, so just watch out here for Amazon. We just reloaded this trade. We said we would do this. But again, we have that stop at 85. So I'm just trying, this is going to be 20 cents worth of a trade. We're short at 66. We're trying to give this up. If it comes back down to 50, we'll take out a quarter of it. And then maybe we drop down into the close. It's a 200 million sell. You heard Brendan talk about that. So, we'll try the short against 85 right now. It just came up to that level. We're looking for some ideas. Alibaba, obviously a nice little win there. I'm going to get out if we take this 80 level, a little bit lower. We have the 50 period right here. Let's use that. It's really just got cured all the way up to the upside right now, just watching this go. So, now we can use that as our out there for BABA, which is a nice trade. BABA just going green right now. We were long right there. It's the one trade that we had on Alibaba. We just saw some defense down here of VWAP. It just kept on buying it right there, and it never dropped below. So we took the long, and we are able to cash out on that. So far, so good there for Alibaba. The next trade that we're looking at here, Apple's still on the way upside. I don't have any intentions of getting out of this one, so we're not, and we'll stay in that. And then after that, yeah, not really much else happening for me now. We have Alibaba, we have Amazon, and Apple, and we'll just wait here into the close as Brendan gave us that update. I'll give you that exact number, 220 to sell right now. So, not much happening right there, but I'm going to continue to watch these levels as Amazon getting a little spicy now. Only 10 cents away from being stopped out on that, and those imbalances are coming out pretty quickly. So they'll be coming out at 350. We'll have to watch to see what those do. NIO now up and going. Silvergate as well. Silvergate's at the low. That was going the other way. It is the NIO trade here that's worrisome a little bit for anybody that's short, as there hasn't been, where's my NIO chart? There it is right there. There hasn't been any pullback on this name. It's a good thing we got out of it, but yeah, man, I don't know. Still a nice move to the upside right there on NIO, and continues to make that move. Breaking I just should have gone long when that broke right there, but we didn't. We got out, and look at it, just ride that 50 period all the way to the upside right now. So NIO continuing to carry the day. I remember asking Greg to get me some shorts on Rivian, and I didn't look at it 1 minute after I asked him for them. So let's look at Rivian right now again. There is a nice move up right there. It was trying to short this level into yesterday, so that level of Rivian 1620. Hopefully that can come in, but yeah, we kind of ignored that one right there on Rivian, and 1620 looks like a good play. And there it is. We'll flush ourselves down the toilet because, yep, Amazon just continued to go upside. So we tried it. Amazon's fine, but it did break right there. There's that last short, and there's the break up. So hit the shorts, and then into the close, man. Wow, NASDAQ, this is surprising to me, man. Up 1% today. We had this guy a bear all day, and then things changed at 1:30. We got Fed coming out, and then it's just a boom to the upside. Everything changed. There goes Alibaba now above 90. So yes, that's working. Apple's working, and Amazon not working. So yeah, what was a pretty uneventful day today until that move. A lot of these names going. We should have been long on AMD. I mean, that one just kept on going. People asked if Neil was in today, would he be long Intel? I could pretty much say no. He doesn't go long on Intel, but maybe he would have. I can't tell you what he would be in or not. But Intel, again, up 3.5%. Probably a continued move. Like, why didn't this chart just change? That's still on AMD right now. Let's see if there's any key levels for Intel, but that's straight to the upside. I feel like heading into this close, man, the DXY still moving downside right now, so the dollar's still working down, and tech names still blasting to the upside. So yeah, shorts be damned right now. The market's going upside.
Yeah, market's going upside in a big way here, accelerating. Okay, 4,000 in play now. We were thinking 39.90 could be a resistance level. Nope. We're going to move to the next one. 40.15 is going to be here. 40.15, yeah, 40.15 is going to be here now. But again, these are the way the market's moving. If you didn't catch it there, it was hard to get involved now. Let's just go to a smaller chart, maybe a 5-minute chart or something like that. Yeah, you see the movement, right? You either had that shot, you trusted it. I did not. You had to get involved there. And once you got past that, it was just consolidation, grind up, and we're already at 95. And I think 4,000 very well in play for today by the close, given we'll see what the imbalances come out as. We've got about 10 minutes or so before the imbalances come out. And this market is looking like it's picking up some steam here, buy-side action as we get to 4,000. Obviously, we have some market names. Let's take a quick look at the market names that are up on the day. Apple's just under 1%, Microsoft's up 2%, NVIDIA up almost 3%, Google 2%, Adobe's at 3%, and then Tesla down 5%, almost 6% on the day, but it's up 2% since the open. So that's not all I care about. It's pretty much since the open, every single stock in the NASDAQ, and the names that I'm going through are the ones that really make a difference because of the weighting that they have in the NASDAQ. And the one that's the least up is Amazon, since the open, by the way, not overall, just since today's open. The least up is 0.6% on Amazon. Everything else, we're sitting at nearly 4% on NVIDIA So doing very well to the upside. You're getting participation across the board here in the big names that make a difference. Why do I talk about these specific names? Because the way that indexes are built, each stock is assigned a weight, right? If there's 100 names in the NASDAQ, each one is assigned a weight. Well, it's not even. It's not like they can equal amount. Some names get a lot more weight, so that means they have more influence in the index than other names. So these specific names that I'm going through, from Apple all the way to AVGO, Broadcom, which roughly, I think when I did the math last time, was roughly about 40% of the index itself. Or no, more than 40%. No, from Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, Tesla, Google, Adobe, and AVGO. I think they control a big chunk of the NASDAQ. So it might be more than 40%, might be more than 50% too, but I got to redo the math on that, but it definitely is a lot. So when those names are starting to go in one direction and you're starting to see a consistent pattern, that means it's going to push the NASDAQ in one direction as well, regardless of what the other names are doing. So definitely some accelerated activity across the board here in the tech heavyweights. And we'll see if this carries out into the close here with the imbalance coming out in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like it might carry forward. I mean, we did have the imbalance there coming at 200 to sell, but that's not a big number. I mean, you're looking for something in the billions to actually move the market. Here's the imbalance locator itself, ZVZZT. We've talked about that before. That's just a joke symbol. There's absolutely nothing happening on that. It's a test symbol, and all of these names are from 9:30. So these will repopulate in approximately 8 minutes at 350, and then we'll be able to talk a little more, about where the direction is off of that. Look, Amazon's just touching $92 right now. Apple's flying. Baba just gave 90 again, so I'm pretty happy now. 89.80 as our out right there. It's come back. We tested higher through 90. It didn't hold. So, now let's just continue to ride this to the upside. It keeps getting adjusted. So we'll get out if this breaks through 80, just to make sure I do have that stop out. And yes, I do. So that's going to be a good one on that. What else, man? Microsoft, how strong is that today? Up 2%. Wow, a good day for Microsoft. Boom. Shot right to the upside again. Some reload opportunities here at 250, but wow, good move upside there for Microsoft as we continue to go. I'm not looking at too much stuff right now, just waiting for those imbalances. So what else? Stressla? Yeah, okay, we can look at Stressla. What's up to Shinobi? Again, like last time I looked at this was what we were up or down on the day for Stressla. And it's just right back to that level again, 91.50. I mean, you put on the stress or not in your life, and if you want Stressla today, then you can have it. Right now is not a horrible price. It's just, who am I to say what these imbalances are going to come out in 7 minutes? I mean, what if there's a huge buy for Tesla? Then you're going to take out this 193. And I just don't know if it's responsible right now to put on anything in any of these big cap names. So you still have 7 minutes. I mean, if you're going to scalp it out, then I think that this could be worth a short. But look at this 189 held as well. Like I feel like if we're sitting here looking at these names, what we're really doing is like, kind of just cherry picking data. Like, I mean, you can say, oh, why didn't we buy there? And why didn't I short here? But you got to have that feeling that it's the right call. And I don't really have that feeling right now for this market, that going one way or the other is right. Arun just talked about ES coming to 4,000. Well, that's right where we're at right now. So, this is another deciding point. ES 4,000. Look at this chart. We could just blow this up just a little bit right here as the dollar's still moving. But there it is right now, 39.90, right, is where we're at. So we're 10 handles away. We got 5 handles away before pulling back. So maybe that rejection does bring this back down to the downside. But if you're going to trade Tesla or anything else, please, man, acknowledge the fact that these futures are going to play a part in everything that you do, right? And so today, though, I keep saying Stressla, but it's Tesla. Now there's the NASDAQ making a pull back in. So, okay, maybe we do get stopped out on Alibaba. Our Apple trade, again, I'm going to wait for these futures and these imbalances to come out here for any of these trades. We can check back in on, let's check on NVIDIA, was maybe a name that we haven't looked at enough today or at all. I mean, a lot of these names are just straight fire today off of that number at 2 o'clock or at 1:30 when they came out. So the Fed speak. So great move up again to 234. NVIDIA, what a good level. That 230 continues to be a good one there. As soon as you broke that would have been an indicator to go long. 230 on NVIDIA has been a good level, especially since earnings, man. I mean, it's been holding out pretty good. So there it is right there, 230. I have to let this load because I did that, but 230 was holding. We spent 2 days underneath, now we're above it. Let's look at 230 tomorrow for NVIDIA. It's not going to come into play today, but 230 tomorrow, a good area on a Friday. Is it a free fall Friday? We'll find out, man. Hopefully Arun, well, he'll be here no matter what at 9 o'clock to talk about that. But Free Fall Friday could be coming in tomorrow. NVIDIA will be a level to look at 230 for me. Only 4 minutes now until those imbalances. Apple is pulling back a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, when you move this fast, you're bound to take a break. And like, it's great to see your position going the money very, very quickly. But at the same time, the sustainability of something like that is not really there. That's why if it takes its time to go up, it's more sustainable, right? So the market, the way it's moved up in the last little bit there, from 75 all the way to 95 in a very short period of time, was unsustainable. We got close to 4,000. Looks like there's some selling. There's bound to be some profit taking as well. That could be what we're seeing right now, and we can get a secondary buy as soon as that is done. So as the market is making its move, we should just watch out for these imbalances coming out fairly soon. I have the imbalance locator out, and for anyone who's from Day Trader World, if you guys have your imbalance locator, you see the ZV, ZZT symbol. The market has test symbols. So these aren't real symbols. They have like placeholder symbols that are in there that they do random things with. So this is, ignore that top name. And these are from this morning too, so it really shouldn't make a difference at this point.
That should disappear at 350.
Yeah, so like, a lot of these will disappear. And if you see random names throughout the day, there's a lot more. This one's Z, but I've seen a bunch of different symbols with these like 6-character names or 5-character names that aren't really there. So essentially what we have is something like this, right? Where at 350, New York, NASDAQ, all the North American markets send out imbalanced information for how many people want to get involved on the official closing price. If you tag your order as on close, it shows up here in the size column. So if you sell, if you're long and you're like, you know what, I want to get out the official closing price for today on Apple. So you set on close sell order on Apple. It'll show up here. If there's enough people that want to sell, it'll be a sell imbalance. There's more sellers than buyers. And that needs to be done by the end of the day. Now, we get to see that information at 350, but at 355, there's an update that that it also involves the floor brokers and their interest levels, and the numbers change dramatically. A lot of the times, what you see at 350 will not exist at 355 because it's been offset. So just keep in mind that regardless of what the imbalance is, we got to keep an eye on it at 350. We got to keep an eye on it at 355, and then it's got to stick around and be large enough going into the end of the day for it to make a difference on the stock. Now, if we have a 2 million share sell imbalance on Apple, and Apple's done 39 million shares, and it's used to doing high volume, it's not going to make a difference. On the other hand, if there's a 10 million share Apple imbalance, and it sticks around after 355, you can bet that Apple's going to be influenced by that imbalance at the end of the day. So there's a lot of factors that go into making a decision on whether this is the right play to make, whether you want to get involved with this imbalance or not. But you just got to be aware that there might be some pressure applied to certain names depending on how large the imbalance is, and we'll find out what they are in about 90 seconds.
Yeah, so Amazon, I was almost thinking about like, hey, maybe we just like wick to top there at 92, but there it is taking out 92. Looks like we'll end the day positive on Amazon right now. And the NASDAQ up 1%, I think is a shock to most people here. You know which name is still red though? That's a very, very big cap name in the NASDAQ. I mean, it's not, you know, it's been hitting down a little bit, but Netflix still red today, down to 314. That's pretty bad. The daily chart looks pretty bad for Netflix as well. Topped out there at 370. 380, wow. Now down to 313. Like, this name is really bleeding, man. That's down $70. Well, almost, I guess from the very top, yeah, $70 there on a $370 name. Like that's pretty bad, man. That's given back about 15 to 20% right there on Amazon alone. So be careful, anybody on the Amazon trade there. Not a great one into that. So we're gonna watch out, or sorry, on Netflix, sorry, not Amazon. That's a move down. We'll look to see about that one tomorrow. Again, another red name today into a strong market. So just mark that stuff down. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing here with things like the sticky note and whatnot, looking for names that have relative strength and relative weakness and trying to play off those. So here we go, man. In just 10 seconds, we are going to have this imbalance locator go off. So let's just watch Apple. because it should be there in 3, 2, and 1. All right, here we go. Let's wait to see what happens there. Oh, so we still get, that still stays there. So unfortunately, we can't get rid of that because that is a NASDAQ. Normally, they get rid of those, so I don't know why it's there.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah, Apple with a sell right now, so that temporarily is going to the downside. Looks like we just got stopped out of Alibaba. That must be a sell as well, as the market just got pushed down a little bit. So let's just see. Yeah, there goes Alibaba. So that's fine, man. That was a great trade for me on Alibaba, and I'm pretty happy with getting out where we did on that one. Obviously, getting out at 90 would have been a little bit better. But other than that, man, Wolf, I mean, I don't really see too many names. Glasses or not, there's not much on here. There was AMD with a sell, so that ticks down just a little wee bit. I don't know, man, nothing else. It was really just Apple there starting to go downside with the sell. So we'll get out if this breaks 146. That's a plan, all right?
Yeah.
Anything on there that you saw?
Yeah, the only one that's of interest to me that's in the imbalances is ALIT. The reason I bring that up is because the pair value seems unusually large for a stock that has an imbalance like this, right? Like Wolf has 100,000 shares paired. When I see paired value or paired volume, what it tells me is that they've been able to match that many shares with somebody else that's willing to offset it. So at some point, this was 3.45 million shares to sell, and they've already found a buyer for 2.5 of it. So that means there's 1 million left to sell. That seems a lot for a stock. Yes, it's done 22 million shares on the day. It's pretty much gone from 930 to 960, tight ranges, which makes me think, what's going on with this stock and why does it have this kind of interest on a day like today? Like Apple having a 5.6 million share sell imbalance or paired value or paired volume makes sense. Apple's highly like an index name. Everybody wants to participate. In the event there's an imbalance, people are going to offset it. That makes perfect sense to me. It's just this is unusual for me, ALIT, and why there's 2.5 already paired and a 1 million left on the day. So I'm kind of trying to figure. Keep in mind, March is also the rebalance month. So the third Friday of March is going to be, there's going to be a lot, well, they've been getting smaller and smaller throughout the years, but it tends to be a highly volatile situation, especially going into the close because of all the rebalancing that happens, meaning a lot of indexes or the indexes are reweighting. So they're selling shares. That means everyone who's following indexes are selling shares to keep in line with what the indexes are doing. And it brings a lot of volatility and activity to individual names. Usually at the top of the list are going to be the heavy weighted index names, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, right? But then you also are going to get some random names that may have IPO'd or are being deleted because they've been bought out or they're about to be delisted soon or whatever the case is. So, or they haven't performed well enough and they need to be deleted out of the index. You do have those names as well. But going into that, on March the 2nd, on a random Thursday, there's this stock with an imbalance. Let's see how it reacts and whether this sticks around, because at this point, if it sticks around after 355, this might be one to watch here on ALIT.
All right. Yeah, tomorrow we have, I think tomorrow someone was asking about Purchasing Managers Index, so that's going to come tomorrow.
PMI,
that's tomorrow, right? Yeah. So
services.
Oh, it's the services?
This is ISM services.
ISM services. Okay. So, you know, services obviously is going to be another factor there, not as much as the consumer for me right now, but, you know, we'll see that. I mean, it's funny, it's coming right now when the futures are just bouncing off 4,000 to the downside, as we were just talking about the NASDAQ being up 1%, and now we're giving it back here into the close. That sell imbalance came out at almost a billion, 940 million to sell. So that was a downside move there for the market. So there's us getting out of Apple. Again, another good trade. Long there at 144.70, out at 146. So $1.30. And this is what I mean about testing those closing imbalances. Thanks, Arun, for talking about them and going over everything. That's it, right? Like if you're going to get into position into those imbalances, you better be right. And I mean, we didn't know where these sells were coming from. It's actually a pretty good day for Google today, up 2% as well, and that's there as a sell imbalance. A lot of these should flip over right now at 355, so that could be something that we want to look for into the close now for the market flipping possibly here at 355, so stay here. Let's watch to see if Apple turns itself around. I could see that happening back up to the upside right now. Where was Apple? It was on here, right? I don't even, oh, there it is as a sell. We could test it. Do you want to test? Let's test Apple possibly flipping here in a couple minutes. I'm going to go long 90s, so there we are. We're long at 90. I'm going to give myself a stop I don't want to throw too much money away. Here we go. Let's give ourselves a stop at 75, just to see if we get a flip in a couple seconds here. 145.75. We'll get out on a flip if it goes downside now. We'll get out, but we could flip higher now. Oh, there it is. What happened? I don't really see anything right now. Apple... I guess based on the reaction of this, it doesn't look like not much happened right there for that. So Microsoft flipped over to a bid there from probably a sell, and I don't see what Apple did, but that's still Microsoft. So Apple right now, we're long, we're 5 cents in the money. Okay, so it worked okay.
Yeah, they're not doing a whole lot right now. It does seem like, remember that ALIT I wanted to pay attention to?
Yep.
Yeah, they're still paring it down, so it seems like it's not going to be much. There is interest in the stock, but it's gotten to a point where 300,000 shares isn't going to do anything on a stock like this.
Yeah.
Right? It's on 22 million shares. We needed a much larger imbalance to stick around, and as you can see, the amounts have gotten small. Right, the only one that's above 1 million is BAC, and BAC can do 1 million shares on not even on one single level, like half a level if you were to add up all the volume. That's actually in the dark. So 1 million shares is not going to make a difference. They're going to pare that down big time too. So as we get closer to the end, none of these are going to be, it seems like, at least right now, none of them are going to stick around with north of 1 million shares. And the only one of interest was going to be ALIT, and that one's getting bigger. Interesting. Why is it getting bigger? Okay, it was down to 300, and now it's at 473, and they've only still paired off 3. So maybe we will go back. I'm not going to do anything. I just want to pay attention to ALIT just because. Why not? With the market making its moves, looks like 4,000, not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe overnight, who knows. But 4,000 definitely going to be one to watch. The reason I even pull up 4,000, the first time around when we get to an even number like that, I'll look at it. If we've already been through it, it doesn't have the same kind of weight anymore. The fact that we haven't been there in a few days, it's probably going to have some weight. So I keep an eye on 4,000 to see how it breaks. I still think that if we get above 4,000 and we fail to get above 4,005, I think there's a chance that we actually kind of top out and go for the short again. But for now, we got to respect the strength. We'll leave it as is, as this market is still trying to go back up after that 355 turn, slightly to the upside. A lot of these imbalances that were, did you say Apple was a sell?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of these, Apple's back on the sell here at 419,000 shares to sell, paired off 7 million. So clearly there's some interest on the sell side for Apple, and they're willing to offset it here. So almost just as much buyers here waiting as we go into the close. So lackluster close, but we've seen what the market can do in just a very short time. We were quiet for the most part of the day. 1:30 comes around, this market expands very, very quickly. And now here we are going to the close and kind of just losing our volume here a little bit as we close out for the day. But there's another day tomorrow. We'll be back, definitely back at it, and see if we can make some money then.
All right, what's up, Brendo?
Quickly, guys, on SI, the FDIC, there's a few reports floating around the FDIC, which is the Federal Deposit Insurance, will put the company into receivership as of the close Friday, and customer accounts would be moved to WFC, Wells Fargo, in that case. So that just came up on SI.
I mean, that doesn't sound like good news for crypto or for anybody in that space. So hopefully everyone's okay. If you do have an account at SI, obviously, figure it out. And it sounds like WFC, so that should be good. That's strange. Wells Fargo, okay. All right, not Coinbase, Wells Fargo. So yeah, they're going back to some traditional banks there. Receivership, yeah, never a great thing, but we'll wait to see what exactly that means for everybody who holds SI or crypto from SI. Hopefully you're able to get your accounts out and everything is good to go. Thanks, Brendan, for that one. As SI is at the low of the day right now, not much trading there. We were actually, SI is one of my number ones. I mean, Neo, SI, positive stocks for me today. Meta, positive stock for me today. Alibaba, positive stock. Apple, positive stock. Red stocks for me today. CRM, red today. But not by much, but we are red on CRM. Microsoft, one trade earlier that we lost on right here. We are going long again, kind of just in the pocket there. But yeah, about ISM manufacturing or services, sorry, for tomorrow. Service is a big part of it. I still wait for the manufacturing and the consumer levels on that as well before we make any judgments. And that, I believe, that's an 8:30 number, isn't it? So
no, it's a 10 a.m. number.
Oh, it's a 10 a.m. number.
There's
okay.
a 9:45 as well, like someone said, the S&P's PMI number as well.
Okay.
But there's a 9:45 composite PMI, and then there's a 10 a.m. ISM services.
All right, so we'll be talking about that. If you want to know that number live, join us tomorrow. Brendan will drop that number live right in your face tomorrow. So that should be very, very exciting. So we're going to get ready to get ramped up there as Tesla coming into the close. What a surprise, down exactly what it was earlier. The countdown is now on as we have less than 10 seconds left in this market, and we're counting it down together. 6, 5, 4, I'm doing that so hard can run, 2, 1, and there it is. We are now closed in this lovely market, which for me wasn't so lovely. It was okay though today. Always looking for more. Oops, I had an Alibaba stop there that I just had to cancel. Tesla, unfortunately today, guys, not too stressful. You know, didn't move much. So Tesla today, pretty relaxed. You can see right here, barcoded pretty much all day, every day. You can see Arun journaling as we speak, so that's good. And there it is right now, Tesla not doing much into the close. It looks like that 190, 150 held out pretty good, but you know, not much on that one. Okay, Brendan, what was a bearish day turned pretty bullish pretty quick around noon.
Yeah, good bounce back for us today. Just be aware, guys. Waller, Fed's Waller making some comments right now, but hey, the market's closed, so here we go. 0.71 for the S&P, a full % for the Dow, and then some, leading the way so far today. 0.84 for the NASDAQ as well. All three, good to see, as I mentioned, back in positive territory to end.
Right, not a bad move there at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's good. I don't know. I just really want to thank my guy Arun for coming up, stepping up for Neil today. Obviously, that was a lot. So, thanks.
Yeah, no, it was good. You know, I couldn't put as much trades today.
What happened?
It was just, you know, I'm a futures guy, so equity just doesn't work
I know,
for me.
where's Arun?
I am Arun.
Oh, you are. You are. What's up, Fahad? Fahad, by the way, congratulations, man. Great job on that. We got, what, 12,000?
12,500. That was really good. The guy messaged me. He said, incredible. The friend that I know that works there. He's very, very happy. 12. It's no joke.
That's no joke. That's, that's
no
USD
joke.
as well, baby. So here in Canada, that's like 17K for Canada.
Yes.
So thank you so much for everybody for donating that. And that money's going for a great cause. Oh, yeah. How do you like the hair? Me and you went to Tim Hortons the other day, and you're all over that.
I love it. It's clean.
I'm doing the same thing very soon.
Yeah, it's clean. My showers are so fast. Man.
Love those showers.
You know, it's not even. I was excited for the showers before I cut it. I realized it's something better.
What?
The drying off.
Yes.
The
shower you got, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying,
hours.
it takes me so fast to dry now.
Yeah.
2 scrubs, I'm done.
In years, but yeah.
It's amazing, but yeah, I love
that's
it.
nice, man. Just one little quick little thing there, and you're done. Let's get Arun back.
Yeah, go
ahead. It's been a blast, man. I want to get Arun back in here. I want everyone to get a chance to say goodbye to this guy right here on chat. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us one more time today. I have no idea why they did that. Like, Fahad, like,
he wanted to do it,
yeah,
so I'm just like, let's do it.
I was just like, and so I turn over, and it's. I mean, you guys have, you know, similar haircuts. I mean, that's about it.
He thought that you guys wouldn't be able to tell whether it was me or him. So he said we both look the same.
Insulting our audience.
So, I mean, we tried it out. Clearly, it didn't work. Now Fahad has an answer, and you know, I'm Arun. He's Fahad. We're both bald. We both have a beard.
Yeah.
We just look a little different.
That's all. Sharp though. Yours is much sharper than Fahad.
Yeah, Fahad's not trying that hard though. That's the problem.
You know who's got a crazy beard? Prad. Prad's
he puts
really working that beard.
He puts in some work. Yeah.
And by the way, my wife Prad, she used to come around here and take pictures of that. You remember Brendan for sure. She took pictures, and some of the pictures that we still use were my wife's. She has a crazy picture of Prad, and I'm going to show it. He had the kind of like longer hair. It was a little curlier. I'm going to send it to Prad, and I'm going to show it on the show yesterday because he had that throwback. I'm going to do a throwback for Prad. She has a really early picture. He's sitting beside Brendan over there. It doesn't even look like him. So wait till you see that. How long have you been here, Prad? 2 years?
3 years, he says.
3 years. Wow. All right. Brendan looks kind of the same.
These youngins are getting old and right in front of us.
Isn't it amazing? And we're just getting older in front of everybody else as well.
Right.
Okay. But feeling good, though, right, guys? That's the thing, right? Feeling good, getting older, feeling good. That's what it's all about. So, all right, 4:04. Anything exciting you want to talk about, Brenda?
Not much coming across. There was a comment there on Walmart. Well, we'll watch that. The CEO is going to stay for longer, apparently, for Walmart, but not much on the earnings board either.
All right, good. Yeah, earnings board kind of light. So it's Friday tomorrow. We have some good economic numbers coming through. Thanks again, Arun, for showing up today. Hopefully I can see you tomorrow, but if not, Neil will be back, which is always a good thing as well. So thanks to Arun. Thanks, Prad, Fahad. Give a wave back there if you have that camera. Let's go on that one. Big shout out to these guys. All right, what's up? All right, thank you, everybody. Sharif as well today. The assassin Luca in the building today. Great trade of the week by Luca. He did his first over there by the screen. I think you were out at that time. He did his trade of the week there at the screen. Thanks to Luca for that. Thanks to, I was going to say thanks to Brankles, but he's on vacay. Thanks to Greg today for helping me out on some of those shorts as well. For everybody here at Trader TV Live, we're back at 8:30 tomorrow. Join us then and be well. Ciao.